Summoner's War.
昇竜拳
The training wheels are off, the bowling bumpers are down because it's elimination day here at the SWC 2020 America's Cup Preliminaries. Hi everyone, I'm Daniel Digon Gonzalez as we navigate to see which 4 players will join the 4 players that have already qualified for the America's Cup. But of course I can't do it alone. It's CNC, it's Chris and Curtis, better known as Make It a Bud and Stoic. Guys, how you doing?
I'm excited to be here. Today is win or go home. I can't wait to see this.
That's right. Very exciting day we have. This is Elimination Day.
That's right. Just in case you didn't know, it was a double elimination bracket as we take a look at the overall overview of the tournament. The America's Cup preliminaries was 16 players selected from the World Arena Season 12 and Season 13. That will shrink down to 8, and the top 2 from the America's Cup will advance to the World Finals. It all kicked off last weekend with days 1 and 2 on August 29th and 30th, and obviously today, right now, 12 p.m. Pacific Coast time. I think it's like 12:01 now anyways. We're going to find out who are the 4 players that will also join the 4 qualifiers into the America's Cup. You can see right there at the bottom, $210,000 for the World Finals. Not a bad purse, like if you're looking for a way to fund and get some more scrolls. But it did start off with day number 1 of the action. When we take a look at the bracket right there, it really was upset city. Oh, Canada reigning supreme in day number 1 of the America's Cup preliminaries with Raigeki and Heaves booking their tickets to the tournament. Guys, what was the theme from day number 1?
I mean, the theme from day number 1 was the day of upsets, right? And part of that driven by how actually poorly Molly did. Everyone complains about how overpowered Molly is on the ladder, but I mean, I think we saw Molly go 0 for 5. I mean, every time Tree picked Molly, Tree lost, and that's why he's playing today for his tournament life.
That's right, and may not be upsets for some like Raigeki. Raigeki played amazing on that day 1, drafting phenomenal up against Tree here. I'm very proud of that man, I really am.
Yeah, Raigeki punching his ticket and ready to go. Doesn't have to play in the preliminaries. Let's take a look, though, at day number 2, where we had less of the bigger names, but still surprising names continue to move on through. As you see there, POPOPANDA unable to defeat Ken Baller, and Ken Baller booking his ticket to the America's Cup, as well as Trokomu taking care of DRMZJOSEPH, who we all know is won before, veteran of the scene. Guys, day 2, Stoic, what was the big takeaway from day number 2?
Oh, big takeaway is Mr. Trokomu just being phenomenal on that day 2, drafting excellent. I mean, DRMZJOSEPH's a 2018 America's Cup champion. Trokomu had a huge wall to climb, and he did it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that was a say swag again day. I mean, just totally showing dominance there. I mean, DRMZJOSEPH, I think going down 0-2, Trokomu drafting very intelligently, made that look very easy against the former America's Cup champion. So looking forward to see what else we have today from everyone in the tournament.
That's right. Speaking of today, let's take a look at today's bracket. We got to see who was chilling, and they've got, sipping on their iced tea over at home. Don't have to worry about it. But you see the 4 players that have already been seeded, DRMZJOSEPH, POPOPANDA, Thompsin, and Tree. Those are the guys that won at least 1 game from days 1 and 2. Everybody else still at the starters block. C. Thomas, TOPAV, FALLPANDA, FAINTMEMORY, JLN2, JMAK, IGORES, and ZEFARIOUS, all playing for their tournament life. 1 loss here, and you're out. No America's Cup. Can't even think about the World Finals as well. And it all starts there at the top with THOMAS.SEA and, of course, TOPAV. And this is one where I think we could have seen Raigeki here, but instead, the fortunes turn. Raigeki wins and then books his ticket to the America's Cup. TOPAV gets unlucky with a tough draw. We didn't know a lot about C. Thomas coming into the tournament, did we?
We didn't know much about him, but we still don't know much about him, but we do know his Sierra does proc a lot, and that's how he was able to take that 1 match versus Tree. We know that he does not have a Gani and Hathor. He had not picked that at all the other previous match. So I really think this one is highly in favor of TOPAV here.
No, it really is. And when you say THOMAS.SEA, let me repeat that one more time. THOMAS.SEA does not have a Gani Hathor or that a very oppressive Yeonhong as well. It's very much in favor of TOPAV. Like we said in the matches that he had played before, that is TOPAV's bread and butter. That Gani Hathor Yeonhong combination is very, very strong. I mean, if he gets this in his court, I'm not too sure THOMAS.SEA is going to get a turn here.
Yeah, and we got to learn that Thomas could at least pick up a win against Tree, but even in that match, we felt like, that was a little bit of disrespect. We saw that was where the Molly was getting drafted back and forth, and as you said, day one Molly, not so good. So I'm expecting that there's no more time for holding back your tricks. You've got to go ahead and start showing what you got, because if you're Thomas, if you're TOPAV, you don't want to go out without getting a win here in the preliminaries.
Absolutely not. I mean, this is elimination, right? Loser goes home. Loser gets to enjoy the rest of SWC from their couch, as I like to say.
All right, well, THOMAS.SEA and TOPAV, these two guys battling for their tournament lives. Here to take it away, of course, Curtis Stoic. Get us into the match.
Here we go, guys. We've got THOMAS.SEA and TOPAV. Funny way to sound them together like that. But we got our first match today for today's America's Cup. Let's go, guys.
All right, be interesting to see who has that first, what the pre-bans are going to look like. TOPAV has opted to actually take first pick, so look to see that. Probably see Thomas is going to ban out the Hathor pre-ban first because it's such an impressive unit. TOPAV likely can run with the Gani Yeonhong combo. There's going to be a lot of balancing between pre-banning Yeonhong, pre-banning Hathor, or maybe just Gani, which is oftentimes the engine. Those are what the pre-bans are going to revolve around. I don't really see another option from C. Thomas, and of course TOPAV is just going to take the wedge out 2 out of 3 times if we go to a third match, if this is somehow not a 2-0. But I really think that, in this one, TOPAV has a lot of tools in his toolbox and is favored to win this one.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Hathor is definitely going to be the pre-ban coming out of THOMAS.SEA. There's no way he can let something like that go through. He is going to be dealing with a Yeonhong combination with a Gani or a Hathor.
And it's interesting that they're taking their full minute to pre-ban. I mean, maybe they know that this could be the end of the tournament, so they want to milk every last second of SWC that they could be in. So as expected, we see that Hathor pre-ban, we see that Wedge at pre-ban. C. Thomas knowing that Hathor is very impressive, very strong unit. TOPAV has first pick, so we'll see what TOPAV goes with. Likely Sierra. There we go, Sierra, because knowing that C. Thomas does not have Gani, Hathor, or Vanessa's, taking that speed lead away means that C. Thomas will not have a speed lead for the remainder of this game.
Yep, I agree. Taking that CR was very, very important. Oh, we are going to be seeing a QB immensity. I mean, I was almost looking at a Katarina bulldozer kind of draft style. He takes it away. He's going to be bringing back the Fran and the Okeanos.
And one more thing I want to point out is THOMAS.SEA is rocking a full 900 points here. We see a more than double point deficit. Both of them showing off fun monsters here, clearly enjoying their time. But then when we get down to business here, TOPAV responding with very serious picks of the Yeonhong Vigor. I wouldn't even be surprised if C. Thomas drops those RNG units. He may need RNG like that to win this matchup.
You may. We see the Mio, we see the Ataris. They were both showing it before. Curious what Thomas is going to be responding with after seeing a Vigor and Yeonhong coming out of TOPAV.
Interesting choice of the Molong and the Masha. I'm not exactly sure about this, but again, TOPAV does not really have units to come in and reset off the bat. Hathor is gone here, so pretty good choice. Molong is a lot more effective in this situation because TOPAV doesn't have an Oki because it's already taken. Hathor is gone, so a lot less control can go into the Molong. Molong's going to be a lot stronger. Yeah,
I'm going to be curious if THOMAS.SEA can get that first turn here up against TOPAV. Might be able to get his Molong on the line. TOPAV wraps up his draft with an Ileana Gani, and THOMAS.SEA is going to respond with a Diana.
Yeah, so THOMAS.SEA here basically representing a draft of I need some procs to win. He's taking the Diana, taking a Molong that hopefully has some procs, taking the Masha, which may be on Violent. It can be either Violent or Swift. This one might be on Violent. So THOMAS.SEA is really banking on some procs to be able to burst a unit down. TOPAV going to the very steady, stable comp. Lots of rotation, lots of damage, lots of everything. So I like TOPAV's draft, but again, anything can happen with Violent runes.
Ooh, Thomas does not ban out the speed lead or the unit that he can't protect himself just a little bit using that Fran against CR. Is going to be banning out the Yunhong, Diana getting pre-banned by Thomas.
And doing so to remove the stripper from TOPAV side. So TOPAV Sierra needs to do a lot of auto attack damage, or else he may not be able to do enough damage.
Yep, that is correct. Speed leads for both teams, 24 for TOPAV. Here we go, guys. Match number 1 between THOMAS.SEA and TOPAV. Ganymede with first turn. A little bit of poke damage coming towards Mo Long.
TOPAV is actually in a little bit of trouble here. He's going to be eating a Mo Long third skill into a Masha second skill. So TOPAV needs to get the anti-crit up and actually does need that to come into play. So see Thomas with the somehow turn 2 team with an Oki actually doing a lot of work here.
Yep, TOPAV, you can see where he's really trying to press that damage in the Mo Long, but the Fran's going to get immunity and attack buffs here, fully healing up that Mo Long.
Yeah, again, we're just going to see how much damage comes out from this Masha Mo Long combo and then having C Thomas sustain. That's exactly the opener that he's going to need.
Yep, you can see Masha's looking to focus out this Ileana. Possible Reckless Assault might be going out here.
I think so too, and I think this Oki drops a skill 2 to add some damage onto Ileana. That's exactly what it does.
And the additional turn as well. A Violet Okeanos maybe poking a little bit more damage. Really want to confirm that that Reckless Assault is going to be finishing off the Ileana. There's only one place to put this bomb, and that bomb's coming in Okeanos' direction.
That is exactly right. He's going to drop the bomb on Okeanos. Going to do a lot of damage here. Auto attack not doing as much damage as we typically see from Sierras.
Not at all. Reckless Assault goes out onto the Ileana. THOMAS.SEA drops that Ileana.
Yeah, and unfortunately for TOPAV, THOMAS.SEA still has that full immunity, so TOPAV really needs to come back, needs to do a lot of damage, and I don't know if those 3 units can take out a Masha, especially if the Masha can proc and do a lot of damage onto Ciara.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be finding out soon. We can see the heal coming out and the anti-crit from the Vigor. Mo Long looking a little low right now, but Fran can either cleanse the bomb or heal up this Mo Long.
And Vigor not using skill 3 on the Mo Long, not going for the kill here, allows that Mo Long to live, so C Thomas looking to stabilize.
Yep, there's that shot coming towards Ciara. Once again, additional turn coming out of Masha, poking more damage on that Ciara. Nothing comes from that skill 2 on Mo Long.
But now C Thomas does not have any immunity, so this is TOPAV's chance to come back. He needs to drop the bomb and control that Fran in case it procs, but drops on Masha, which is perfectly fine as well.
Gets the double stun from the bombs on top of Okeanos and Masha. Ventilate back onto Ciara. Ciara's going to have bomb and detonate once again. You can see the poke damage going onto Mo Long from Ganymede. Vega looking for a nice skill 3 on the Masha, looking to drop it off of the beast, and does so.
Yeah, so TOPAV going for the Masha here, figuring that his team will be able to take out C Thomas's team if he's able to take out Masha.
Ooh, no proc coming from Fran. Really needed that proc there. Vigor's able to finish off the Masha. Glancing be applied to Mo Long with an additional turn coming out. Seal of Magic onto the Fran, dumping attack bars. Bomb is coming out from Ciara onto the Okeanos, detonating that. Not looking good for THOMAS.SEA with another additional turn from TOPAV.
That's a giant proc from the Ganny. That attack bar dump basically swung the entire momentum. If I'm C THOMAS.SEA, I'm thinking about my last match of SWC coming up right now.
Exactly. Ganymede with a little bit of poke damage might be dropping this Okeanos because it is built on Violent. No, with the Ventilate back onto Ciara.
Yeah, TOPAV's just going more aggressive, dropping more bombs. This is pretty much over here.
So many additional turns coming out of TOPAV. That is going to be it for THOMAS.SEA. Just a lonely Fran. He's going to take this time to think about what he needs for next match.
Yeah, somehow we have a weird icon that just popped up, but doesn't matter. Valid, invalid, this game is pretty much over here. We see 3 monsters. There is no way in this world this Fran can win. Even if you took the runes off of those 3 monsters, Fran would not be able to pull this off.
Exactly. Man, what went wrong? I feel like THOMAS.SEA actually had a chance to maybe do something here, but TOPAV did get a lot of violent procs.
I think that Ganymede, that proc there, dumping attack bars, basically swung the entire momentum. At the same time, TOPAV, I called out the bomb incorrectly. TOPAV actually dropped on the Masha, recognized that that was the source of RNG and damage. Once that Masha went down, THOMAS.SEA didn't really have enough in his back pocket. Oki didn't really do enough, and ultimately wasn't able to out-sustain a Vigor there.
Yep, exactly. And TOPAV taking that round 1 away from THOMAS.SEA. Things are happening right now. We'll get through this shortly. Man, I think THOMAS.SEA had that 27% chance to get the additional turn with that Fran as well. And Fran was not able to proc, and that maybe would have helped THOMAS.SEA out a lot.
Exactly. So typically on the ladder, you'll want to play a little bit more, assuming that they proc and whatnot. So a bomb on the Fran typically is safer in the ladder. But of course, in a tournament setting, you definitely want to be... you definitely want to play a little bit more aggressive, and that's exactly what we saw. We're going into match 2 here. We're going to see the pre-bans on the Masha and on the Ganny. C Thomas taking the Sierra first, as we expected. That's the unit they're fighting over, and TOPAV responding with the trademark Fran and Yunhong.
Very safe draft already from TOPAV. THOMAS.SEA trying to get a little aggressive, having a speed lead under his belt, bringing out an Okeanos and Viga.
Yeah, Okeanos and Vigor, very, very good choices here. And now TOPAV does know that that Okeanos is on Violent, meaning that if TOPAV wants to take that first turn initiative, he can do so. However, Fran is kind of a middle speed unit, kind of disrupts that portion. I could look to see a Hathor, definitely. Maybe a Daphnis if he wants to go aggressive and ban out the Vigor or the Okeanos. Or he could decide to even go with the speed lead like a Vanessa.
Yep, TOPAV bringing in that Hathor and an Alucia coming out of TOPAV. Not very aggressive, though.
Not aggressive at all, and actually kind of damage light, but at the same time, Yunhong does do a lot of damage. So if I was C. Thomas, I would be angling my draft to take a unit out early and abuse the fact that TOPAV does not have a lot of damage. At the same time, though, that Alucia does control C. Thomas a lot, and without immunity, it could be dangerous. The 2 win picks, or the 1 win pick and the 1 light pick, very good against Alucia here.
Yep, definitely is. TOPAV with 1 last pick after seeing the Wadjet and Wind Druid coming out.
Interesting choices here. So C. Thomas is going with a very fast Wadjet. We know he runs that at plus 200 speed, and that's going to boost up that Terranese. It's going to do a lot of damage and give him a lot of turns over time. I really actually like C. Thomas's draft here. It's a lot of damage, a lot of threat over time. TOPAV going with that speed lead at the end.
Yep, bringing out a Vanessa to wrap up TOPAV's draft. No immunity on the side of THOMAS.SEA. I wonder how well that's going to work, showing that there is a Hathor and a Lucia on the other side of the field.
Actually, TOPAV's draft looking quite scary because Yunhong acts almost as a pseudo Gani, being able to reset cooldowns. That Hathor, that Alucia is going to be able to control a lot. So takes out that Yunhong, removes that RNG, but at the same time, Alucia does so much here. The question is, does TOPAV have enough burst to be able to take out that Sierra first with only a Vanessa? And we'll see if he's able to land that defense break.
Yep, or just deny the turns. We're going to find out, guys. 33 speed lead for TOPAV, 24 speed lead for THOMAS.SEA. Here we go, guys. We've got round 2. Can Thomas hold on to one more match, or can TOPAV get the upset? That Wadjet not being willed up. Possibly on a broken set for the speed, but the Hathor is going to be outspeeding here with that 33 lead. Hathor goes for skill 2 onto the Okeanos and does not land that sleep.
Highly unlucky here, not getting that. And of course, TOPAV running what looks to be a swift Hathor. So taking THOMAS.SEA by surprise here. That Fran is reset, so TOPAV is in a very, very bad position.
Yep, that is right. A lot of sustain for TOPAV. Okeanos landing that reset onto the Fran, and we have a wild blow coming out onto the Hathor. Hathor did handle it pretty well, but there's going to be a bomb coming from this Ciara.
Yeah, and on the backswing here, TOPAV is going to eat a full team stun from this Okeanos. So unless that Lucia can proc, he's in a lot of trouble.
Ooh, no proc coming out of Lucia. We're going to get a nice attack bar pushback attack break on to Ciara, but it looks like we get an additional turn here, looking to heal up that Lucia.
Definitely needs to heal up that Lucia. Needs to keep his team up as much health as he can because he's going to eat a full team stun here. Any proc from Ciara could be dangerous.
No, a defense break, but the additional turn coming out of TOPAV, pummeling more damage into that Ciara.
Missing that defense break is huge because that Sierra could have been close to dead now, and it is not. However, at the same time, C. Thomas is going to sleep.
Yep, Swift Hathor finally coming into play, getting everybody asleep here, dumping some attack bars. Lucia possibly going to heal herself up. No, boosting up the Hathor.
So at this point here, TOPAV just needs a cycle, needs to get onto the Sierra, needs to slowly do damage.
Additional turns coming for TOPAV. He's able to get his attack buffs and immunity up with that Fran. Damage is going to be focused on the Sierra. He has to remove this unit.
Very tanky Sierra, though. It's eating a lot of hits here, and it's still at half health. But interesting, one thing you want to know is C. Thomas does not have any healing. So as the game goes on, these support units from Topa's side get to be a lot better here, and they're going to wear TOPAV down.
Yep, Lucia able to get that first skill freeze onto the Ciara. No way, Rain of Stones is coming out from that Okeanos. Okeanos with a nice little skill 1 onto that Vanessa.
Yeah, at this point, TOPAV could throw a sleep onto the Oki, but it's still going to work that Sierra. Once Sierra goes down, C. Thomas does not have any more damage.
Hathor missing that sleep onto the Okeanos. Vanessa finally landing that defense break onto the Ciara, but we get an initial turn coming out from this Wind Druid.
Yeah, the Wind Druid does have to make a choice. Does he transform and keep that Sierra alive, or does he decide that he wants to revive it after the fact?
Yep, he might go for that Soul Protect, chooses not to, hoping for a stun onto the Hathor. Okeanos finally getting a Rain of Stones online, not able to stun up that Fran Lucia.
And that reset going on Vanessa tells us that C. Thomas is looking for a kill, likely going to go after the Lucia really soon. Fran is oftentimes squishy, so the two of them are options. TOPAV needs to find a way to keep them up.
That's right. Well, the possible cleanse coming out from this Lucia, may even healing itself up here. Maybe want to lock down a unit, and does choose to go for that skill 3 for the 2-turn sleep onto the Wadjet.
Interesting choice to go on the Wedge here, and the play's going on quite fast. That's a lot of damage coming out from that Sierra's auto attack.
That was a lot of damage coming out of that Sierra. Sierra is very, very well ruined. Bomb does land on the Vanessa, and you can see the Soul Protect coming out from that Fran. Ooh, bomb does detonate on the additional turn from Vanessa.
Yeah, and Sierra again has 2 turns on that auto revive, so that's a lot of virtual
HP. Ooh,
HP.
the additional turn from Okeanos, able to drop that Lucia there.
Yeah, highly unlucky there, but at the same time, Fran is taunted up there, so C. Thomas looking very, very good here.
Looking very good. He's able to get that bomb onto Vanessa. Going to be detonating that here. If this drops Vanessa, it's going to be it for TOPAV. And there you have it. Round 2 goes to THOMAS.SEA.
Well drafted by THOMAS.SEA there. TOPAV kind of not taking enough damage on his first 4 picks, and that's exactly why he had such a hard time taking out Sierra. Not landing that defense break was huge, because had he landed that Sierra was going to go down. It would have gone down a lot sooner, and it didn't die at all. And that's the whole reason why that match went the way it was. I mean, when you only take 1 damage dealer in Vanessa there, you are relying on that one, on that defense break. And when that doesn't land, you really don't have a way to kill your opponent's units.
That is correct. Big resets from Okeanos as well. Very, very important unit on that field. He was able to get a couple lockdowns when he needed it, able to get the additional turns from the violent Okeanos as well, finishing off that Alucia. Great plays from THOMAS.SEA.
Great plays indeed. And actually, I mean, early on, he actually had a hard decision of whether or not to reset that Fran or reset that Hathor. Decided to go after Fran and decided to eat the sleep there, which was probably calculated given the fact that he had Wedge Ad given him passive attack bar buff. But at the same time, again, had his Sierra taken the defense break, he would have lost there and been shown the door. But instead, we get to see a game 3. So very interesting to see how this will pan out. But interesting. At this point here, C. Thomas will have access to that Masha. And I believe TOPAV does have a Masha, so maybe this is a unit to fight over. I think that they're first going to take away that Sierra. They're going to fight over that first. It's going to go very similar to how Game 1 went. But later on, we're going to see potentially a take of the Masha from TOPAV.
Yep, definitely going to see a very similar pre-ban to that very first match. Hathor and Wadjet getting pre-banned out that first round. We're going to see if it repeats one more time. And there you have it, Hathor and Wadjet getting pre-banned in Game 3. TOPAV with first pick here. Let's see if he takes that Ciara away from THOMAS.SEA.
Definitely going to take that Ciara. The two of them have very well-wound Ciaras. You saw that auto attack doing 1400 damage. That allows you to get through even like an Ileana or something with immunity. So Ciara doesn't care if you have immunity because it does so much damage. C. Thomas responding with the violent Oki and the Fran, as we saw in Game 1. TOPAV not deviating at all, going very neutral picks. No one committing to heavy damage or heavy speed on either side of the draft yet. We see Yunhong and Vigor.
Yunhong Vigor very safe. Both players are drafting very fair right now. After seeing Yunhong Vigor, let's see what direction THOMAS.SEA is going to be taking this in.
Yeah, and THOMAS.SEA doesn't really want to be put in a position where he needs to resist, so I anticipate him trying to think about some speed, or actually in this situation, going for turn 2. And we're going to see the Leo, and I'm not exactly sure about this Leo here, because both Sierra and Yunhong give attack bar, and when they do that into a Leo, generally Leo's a weak pick. So C. Thomas is already locking himself into potentially some sort of a Sierra Yunhong ban here. The Leo does deal very well against the Vigor, but again, I'm not sure exactly about this Leo pick here. Allows TOPAV to be able to exploit this with some sort of control.
Or maybe even a Verdi heal as well. We're not seeing a lot of mobility on THOMAS.SEA's side of the field. If we do see a Verd, and we do see a Verd Masha coming out of TOPAV.
So the Masha pick tells me that Leo is actually more likely the ban now because Masha doesn't do a lot of damage into Leo. But at the same time, it's okay to leave the Leo in. It still does a lot of damage with defense break. So all bans are on the table. So that's how you know TOPAV made a great draft. TOPAV doesn't have immunity, so that Rika's a perfect last pick.
Exactly. So it looks like that last pick, Rika, is probably going to be the ban for TOPAV.
I think Rika becomes a force ban here, but if you do so, do you really want to deal with a violent Oki and a Leo? And I think you probably have to deal with it. I see C. Thomas banning out that Vertihile, understanding that his Rika is probably the force ban. So we're likely going to see that those first 4 units from TOPAV versus the first 4 from C. Thomas.
Ooh, and Yunhong getting pre-banned. Banned by THOMAS.SEA, which is crazy to see. You've got a Leo on the field, and that Verti heal is just going to be cycling a lot of turns.
I mean, TOPAV just has so much cycling, but you're going to see so much damage coming out of TOPAV. I think this is going to be his ticket to the next round.
Well, here we go, guys. Round 3 between THOMAS.SEA and TOPAV. Leo with the first turn.
Leo always gets that first turn. Super fast unit is able to knock back this Sierra.
Yep, got that attack bar pushback on Ciara. Masha looking to get some massive damage onto the Leo. Maybe even a skill 2 coming from this Viga.
But again, doesn't do very much because at the same time, Masha relies on that speed to make the damage goes higher.
That's right, but he did land that defense break, which is pretty important on top of that Leo.
But again, you don't really want to damage the Leo early because if you get it low enough, you could eat a Torrent.
Exactly. Full stuns from the Rain of Stones coming out of Okeanos onto TOPAV.
Yeah, and at this time, C. Thomas is really thinking about what he needs to take out once this Vertihile gets online. That's a lot of turns he's taking, so the goal here is to be able to take out a unit before this Vert takes over.
Ooh, we see the additional turns coming from that Ciara as well. Nice skill one onto that Fran. Fran took that very, very well. Reset comes out onto the Ciara to make sure those bombs are not going to be up next turn.
And no more
again, additional turns coming from Ciara. So many procs.
And no more anti-crit on Sierra, so this Wind Druid is going to do a ton of damage onto Sierra. So Sierra's going to be eating a lot of damage shortly.
Exactly. Nice defense break coming from that Vigor onto the Okeanos. We have a cleanse coming here, and we do. Fran cleanses out that defense break, no problem. And you can see some attack bars going to get pushed up with that Vertihile bomb finally landing on the Okeanos. Damage focus is going to be on Okeanos as well. Might see a massive wild blow onto Ciara. Goes to that wild blow. Ciara does stay alive, but the additional turn comes out, gets the stun on top of Ciara.
That's a giant stun. Not sure why he's attacking the bird here. Should just go for the kill on the Sierra. That's a lot of greed. If this Vigor procs, that Sierra could be picked up, and that could be a big mistake coming out from C. Thomas.
It could be. You can see the focus right now is going to be on the Okeanos, getting the additional turns coming from Verd. Verd's going to be pushing TOPAV's whole team forward here.
That's a giant mistake from C. Thomas because now Sierra's alive. Should have taken out that Sierra because Sierra can dominate this match right now.
And that's where slowing down your play really matters. THOMAS.SEA was very, very quick to make those decisions. He needed to take up that time, but he's able to finish off that Ciara anyways.
Able to take out that Sierra, and the Terranese is able to revive a unit. So this match is not over yet, but there's a lot of damage coming out.
Definitely not. You can see the focus is definitely on Fran. Vigor getting that 3-turn defense break. And Vertihile not finishing off the Fran just yet, but Masha's going to be there to drop that Fran.
Yeah, here, and C. Thomas does need to play greedy, does need to go into that Vertihile and just ignore the fact that it can revenge because he is massively behind, does need to take those risks here.
Yep, unit of focus for TOPAV right now is going to be that Wind Druid. Looking for a stun, gets the additional turn as well. Wild blow comes out. Vertihile is still alive. No revenge is coming out of Verd.
So much luck coming out from C. Thomas' side. Double proc back to back here, but TOPAV with that anti-crit proc coming out. If he lands this defense break, that's going to be a lot of damage.
Really needs to get this defense break. Gets the 3-turn defense break on top of Tyrannies.
Gets that 3-turn defense break.
And there it is. He's paying for it. The revenge comes out from the Verd, but we get an additional turn from Leo. Vertihile pummeling more damage on top of this defense broken Tyrannies.
And again, this Masha's going to do a lot of damage, and as the game goes on, attack goes higher and higher, so look for TOPAV to take out this Wind Druid right now.
Ooh, doesn't drop that Wind Druid yet. I think Vig is going to be supplying enough damage to drop this Wind Druid. Chooses to go after the Leo.
Interesting choice here. I think TOPAV doesn't want that Wind Druid to then be able to go on its own turn in beast form, so decided not to kill it right away. Went for the greed move, but if everything is provoked, could be dangerous here and could be a mistake.
Ooh, there's the provoke sitting on top of that Vigor. We see that second skill going out onto that Wind Druid. Drop of the Wind Druid here. Is Masha going to be enough to possibly drop this Fran? Chooses to go after the Wind Druid, dropping it here. The big heal comes out with the additional turn. Once again, Shred coming out onto the Fran. Fran's got 3-turn defense break.
Yeah, I mean, Vertihile is just taking over. It's taken so many turns. It's revenge procced. It's violent procced. It's done so much here. It's procced every single time. It's done so much here, and I think TOPAV is just going to be able to take this one now.
Exactly. A lot of turns coming out of this Vertihile as well, boosting up his team. The mobility of TOPAV really coming in strong in this match. You can see THOMAS.SEA just trying to drop that Verd. He knows it can revenge, but he is still going after it.
Yeah, but at this point here, that Leo is on Violent. You've seen it on Violent, so once this Fran goes down, there's no way for this Leo to take out a Masha. It's not happening.
That's right. There's that big skill, too. TOPAV drops the Fran. He has the sustain. He has everything. TOPAV is going to be taking this 3rd round against THOMAS.SEA.
Yeah, TOPAV showing very, very good control of his draft. Drafting very well here, and of course, eliminating THOMAS.SEA from the tournament.
Eliminating THOMAS.SEA. There you have it. TOPAV taking it in round 3. Well done.
Well done, TOPAV. I mean, that was great being able to dip into your opponent's box, take the Masha, and of course, I'm not sure about that Leo pick early. Allowed TOPAV basically to draft around and take that Verd and steal your opponent's Masha, so it wasn't easy for your opponent to take and eventually just have a winning draft because, again, that Leo was not the pick at that point.
Yeah, I agree. There's a little bit of misdraft there. You're showing way too many cards. He showed that Leo, and like you said, TOPAV drafted right around it. D-God! That was a very, very impressive match there.
Yeah, definitely was. And we were looking a little bit back and forth at the CR, and I want to go back to that point, right, where there was that opportunity to take CR early. And I thought at that point, Thomas is done. There's no opportunity for him to get back. But we got to see exactly how he was able to take a game off of Tree. He was the master of procs, able to get all the luck to continue to stay in that fight, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, early on, he did get a lot of procs. And of course, in Game 3, there was that decision point where he should have taken out that Sierra earlier with that. Okeanos chose not to do so, chose to go for a reset. And TOPAV got a few procs. And you see this in ladder all the time where your opponent gets the exact procs that you need, able to claw himself back into the game because of that. That swung the momentum a lot.
Yeah, definitely a lot of fun in that one. And of course, we wanted to clarify, I got word from the administrators, the bug that we saw earlier didn't affect the integrity of the game, it was with the observer client. And this is something that's happened in the APAC region as well. So the match went on as normal as possible. The observer had the issue, so there was nothing impacted by the integrity of the game. All right, let's take a look at the bracket after that last match. It's TOPAV now with a big win and has an even bigger matchup against DRMZJOSEPH. Only one of them can book their ticket to the America's Cup. But before we get to that, we got to fill out the rest of the semifinal bracket. And we have FALLPANDA up against FAINTMEMORY, and this is a big one. FALLPANDA, vocal member of the community, did not have the showing that he wanted. FAINTMEMORY just had a tough draw, had to go up against THOMPSIN in Game 1. Guys, what did you think? What do you feel about this matchup here?
What I'm most curious about is FALLPANDA going to pre-ban Gianna? That's what I am most curious about. Are we going to see that Gianna pre-ban, or did he actually do his homework and understand that his opponent has no LD Nat5s?
That'll be interesting. I think we all know FAINTMEMORY doesn't have any LD Nat5s at all, but we're going to find out if FALLPANDA knows. And there you have it. This is going to be a very fun match to watch.
This is going to it's going to be a very fun match, and I look to see what kind of creative picks Josh can throw in there. But at the same time, I know Josh is fighting for his tournament life. He's been to SWC a lot. He definitely wants to go far. So we might not see some fun picks. He may just go for the throat and take this 2-0.
Yeah, and I think right now is the time where you have to start standardizing your game, which is why I think FAINTMEMORY to me is such an interesting character, because he prides himself on being creative. He's trying to not be a part of the meta, he's trying to create the meta. Again, no LDs, are very proud of it, isn't he?
Absolutely very proud of no LDs. He's always gone off of innovative plays, innovative drafts, innovative different speeds on units, changing the ways that traditional units can be drafted, something he's always good at. He brought the Aegir meta back then into the meta. So at the same time, I look forward to see what he has here.
Yeah. On the flip side, though, with FALLPANDA, we know he had his stumble with the research, banning away a unit that the other player did not have. But other than preparation, what is the key to success here for FALLPANDA here, Stoic?
I think a lot of people would like to say LD Nat5s. LD Nat5s is the way to go and the way to succeed, but we're going to find out today if LD Nat5s truly matter in this match.
That's right. We're about to find out right now. The match is ready. Stoic, get us into our second elimination game.
Here we go, guys. It is going to be FAINTMEMORY and FALLPANDA. We've got a very exciting match ahead here, and we have our second match of today's SWC, FAINTMEMORY and FALLPANDA going into pre-bans.
So going to the pre-bans here, we'll see what LD monster that FAINTMEMORY takes out. FALLPANDA does have first pick, so it'll be interesting to see what he perceives of FAINTMEMORY. Are we going to see that Gianna pre-ban? I want to know if we see that. That's what I'm looking forward to see. Or is FALLPANDA actually making a real pre-ban? At the same time here, FALLPANDA rocking that one red star, 1770 points, and FAINTMEMORY almost 300 points higher.
Oh, there you go. We see that Bobber's going to be getting pre-banned by FALLPANDA, and the Pada getting pre-banned by FAINTMEMORY. Makes a lot of sense here, FAINTMEMORY taking out the Patter because he intends to go for control. A lot of times Ganny Hathor is a very secure way to win. FALLPANDA doesn't really want to play a speed game, so takes out that Barbara, takes that Hathor first as expected. We're going to see, FAINTMEMORY's flashing the Jean, which is oftentimes a pseudo Hathor with that skill 3 having a 2-turn provoke, telling his opponent that he has this in his back pocket. Maybe he could pick it. It's a very good pick here, but again, goes to that Fran Ganny as expected. Yep, well, Fran Ganny being drafted by FAINTMEMORY. FALLPANDA looking to respond with a Vigor and Daphnis. FALLPANDA actually going very aggressive here. I do like that Daphnis pick. Does nuke off a unit of FAINTMEMORY's really early, so FAINTMEMORY does need to address that. This is likely going to be Sierra and hopefully an Okeanos. I would love to see an Okeanos here. The Vigor, I'm not exactly sure about that in terms of speed. Kind of weak to Fran, kind of weak to Ganny, but the Daphnis is a very good pick here. FAINTMEMORY going with the Leica off the bat. I think we saw the Leica in day 1 as well coming from FAINTMEMORY. It did a lot of damage. It did a lot of damage, and at the same time, Leica is semi-weak to Vigor. Vigor with that multi-hit on skill 3. So right now, FAINTMEMORY's ban does look to be that Vigor or that Hathor.
And FALLPANDA go with an Okeanos. I love that Okeanos pick here. And maybe even a Vanessa pick to round out the draft, or a Chiwoo pick. Some sort of speed lead is the way that FALLPANDA is going to come out ahead. FAINTMEMORY needs to find a way to respond to this in terms of speed, or he's in trouble. Lots of trouble here. Or let the Hathor and the Okeanos through. Goes with a Blution. Another a Sion here with the ability to throw bombs and then revive again with its passive.
Well, very excited to see this Blution as a last pick coming up for FAINTMEMORY. FALLPANDA with that Oki Chiwoo wrapping up his draft as well.
So I think we see a Chiwoo ban just because if all the strips go off, Hathor or Okeanos take care of FAINTMEMORY side. So Chiwoo has to be the ban from FAINTMEMOry side. If I'm FALLPANDA, I'm looking probably to take out either the Fran or even the Blution, which is a bit odd. Chiwoo is banned out as expected here, but I expect to see a lot of units willed up from FAINTMEMORYs, but he's going to be eating a Daphnis nuke here, and he needs that Blution to go off.
Speed lead coming out for FAINTMEMORY, accuracy lead for FALLPANDA. Interesting to see how this one's going to be getting with us. And here we go, guys, going into round 1 between FALLPANDA and FAINTMEMORY. Fran taking first turn.
Yeah, Fran going very fast unit from Josh's side here, and at the same time, Okeanos actually not outspeeding a Fran, so FALLPANDA definitely slower on the rune side. Does he get the reset?
Does get the reset on the Blution.
That's a huge reset because, well, it did not go for skill 3 and not go for the kill. That's an interesting play there. But
Setting up that defense break.
And not needing it at that point, so actually very good show of patience here.
Ooh, Daphnis getting that defense break strip on top of Ciara, and does provide enough damage to drop that CR, putting at FAINTMEMORY at a 1-unit deficit.
Yeah, putting FAINTMEMORY at a 1-unit deficit, and quite honestly, probably a 1-match deficit, because at this point here, FALLPANDA can just cycle turns over and over with that speed buff. This Blution's going to be out of commission for a while. Very tough for FAINTMEMORY to come back.
Well, let's see if this Justice is going to be enough to finish off that Daphnis, and it is. FALLPANDA looking for a little bit more poke damage onto that Blution.
Yeah, but once FALLPANDA is able to sync off that skill 3 from Vigor onto Leica, that's going to be a ton of damage here. We know FAINTMEMORY's Leica tends to be light on damage.
He's definitely waiting for that immunity to get off to do that. Fran's going to be healing up Blution here. We're going to get a nice first skill coming out of attack buff, not dealing as much damage as I thought onto that Okeanos.
And not sure about that skill 3 onto the Blution here. Blution doesn't have skills up. He should have waited for Leica to have one more turn. But again, FALLPANDA's maybe hoping for procs here because that's how he's going to be able to get his skills up again.
Yep, could possibly. We may even have a Leica Soul on our hands. I mean, we're going to find out shortly. We've got Okeanos as the unit of focus right now, staying alive still, but we've got the third skill from Hathor putting everybody down.
Yeah, third skill of Hathor putting everyone down, and then FALLPANDA's going to be able to stabilize here with that Vigor, having his heals up right now. It's going to pick him up, and once he gets these multi-hits onto Leica being quite squishy here, I think FAINTMEMORY's going to be done.
Bombs finally landing, though. I'm very curious to see what kind of bomb damage we might be finding out from FAINTMEMORY.
I think it's going to be a lot of bomb damage here.
There's a nice skill, too, putting that unit to sleep, gets the additional turn, stunned up. Vega looking to finish off, but it's going to revive back due to its passive. Okeanos gets blown off the field.
So that would be why FALLPANDA was going after that Blution, but unfortunately unable to take that Blution out. That Blution just launched a lot of bombs. Actually, not a ton of damage, but that Oki was just super squishy and went down.
Here comes that skill 3, once again, not saving it for the Leica. I'm not sure he's going to take down this Leica.
Exactly. To your point, should have saved it for the Leica because Blution already used its skills there. Now Leica has immunity, and now Leica's going to go and take that Vigor out.
That was a big misplay coming out of FALLPANDA. Hathor trying to focus out this Fran right now, and it looks like Leica has it all.
Leica has it all. Leica
38K coming from that Leica, and there you have it. FAINTMEMORY takes FALLPANDA in round 1.
Wow, Blution, interesting. That Sion just doing so much damage with its bombs, or rather that Okeanos being quite squishy, that Hathor being moderately tanky. At the same time, I guess FALLPANDA not taking out that Sion early enough, or really committing either way and then not taking out a unit and ultimately losing.
Yeah, I don't think he had the damage. I think he was lacking a lot of damage there, and he had to deal with 2 units that he was terrified of.
And at the same time, that Okeanos getting that reset on the Sion early was quite lucky in favor of FALLPANDA. We won't see that too often, so if the same drafts came out, FAINTMEMORY would win that again likely.
Well, here we go, guys, getting into round 2. FAINTMEMORY taking that first match. Pre-bans from last time. We're going to have some new pre-bans going into this round 2.
So we'll see what other LD monster FAINTMEMORY decides to pre-ban here. Takes out the Ragdoll Powder, being quite strong here. Now we know how Ken Ballard does all the time. He has that Ragdoll Powder. Same time, FALLPANDA taking out the Hathor here. So very standard. FAINTMEMORY probably going to open up with a Fran or a Ciara.
Fran getting first pick by FAINTMEMORY. FALLPANDA looking to respond, possibly taking a unit away from FAINTMEMORY. Going with a Molly Vigor from FALLPANDA. Can Molly get a win this SWC?
Not sure about the Molly. Molly's been 0-5. FALLPANDA clearly does not care about the statistics. Faint Memory, interestingly enough, goes with that Daphnis, even though there's glancing on the other side. But that Sierra quite good in a Molly. Molly doesn't really defend against bombs very well. FALLPANDA, again, not going heavy damage here, going with Oki. And the next pick here does need to be damage. Does not have enough burst here with that Artemel. So I'm not sure about this here. Faint Memory can easily abuse this with some sort of maybe even a Tessarian, ban on Vigor, or, you know, maybe some other defense breaking units.
Yeah, as a fan of Ada, I am not a fan of Ada going into this round here. Dover getting picked by Faint Memory, and Ganymede as well.
Oh, this is a great pick by Faint Memory. Dover is great. FALLPANDA does not have immunity, so he has to basically eat everything. Faint Memory's gridlocking FALLPANDA in draft here. The last unit is going to be banned. It doesn't matter what it is that's going to be banned. Even if it was a slime, it would be banned. It's gone here. But on the same side, FALLPANDA is just going to be eating a lot of bombs or eating just Ganny resets over and over.
Yep, easy ban for the Pata for sure. Faint Memory, he was drafted for the first 4 units, and it shows right there. Pata's getting banned, accuracy lead for FALLPANDA, and we have a speed lead for Faint Memory. Here we go, guys. We're going into round 2. Faint Memory, FALLPANDA. Can FALLPANDA take a win away from Faint Memory, or is Faint Memory going to have the damage and control?
Yeah, at the same time here, though, Faint Memory only has 2 targets to go for Hellfire on.
Does get that strip defense break onto the Vigor, not finishing it off, though.
But there's a Dover and a Sierra coming later. We know that Sierra's a lot faster than Dover, but it does not matter. There's really nothing to cleanse from the side of FALLPANDA.
Does not get the reset onto the Ganymede. Gets the strip, though. We're going to see a 3rd skill coming out from Ganymede on top of this Vigor. Vigor does not have skills up.
Yeah, got that reset. The attack bars are dumped here. There's going to be a lot of damage. He does not even need to detonate it on the Vigor here.
Bomb does get resisted on top of Molly, though.
That was 3.5 damage per 3.5k damage per auto attack from the Sierra. That's a lot of damage. 1.4k each. It's a ton coming up from Faint Memory.
Great Despair Stuns. This is exactly what FALLPANDA needs right now. He needs anything coming from Ada. Ada getting Despair Stuns onto the Dover and to the CR as well.
Yeah, if you note, though, this Dover is super tanky, though, so FALLPANDA does not have burst, is not going to be able to take out this Dover. Dover will get its skills off later here, so FALLPANDA's chipping away, but it's not going to be successful.
Ooh, there's the additional turn coming out of this Dover. Dover looking to plant some bombs.
Dover looking to plant bombs, can also throw skill 3. It does not really matter at this point. Faint Memory has full control here. Bombs are very strong here. Molly doesn't do anything against bombs. Molly hasn't done anything all game.
Oh, we've got Okeana stunned up. Molly stunned up. Bomb does land on the Ada.
Bombs landing on Arda. We're going to see bombs coming out from the Dover. With a Dover this tanky, these bombs are going to hit hard, but it doesn't matter. It's a full team stun.
Yep, Ada going for a skill 1, hoping for Despair Stuns, not receiving it there. And here comes a skill 2. Bombs only landing on Ada.
In true Faint Memory fashion, these bombs do not land, but it does not matter. That's 32k damage going out in the Arda.
Yep, there goes the sustain and the damage coming from FALLPANDA, looking heavily favored in Faint Memory's side of the field, getting the reset onto the Molly to stop the shield cleanse coming out, and the unit of focus is going to be trying to drop this Okeanos.
That's exactly right, and FALLPANDA here knows that his time in SWC this year is over. There's no way Amali comes back from this, not with bombs on the table. Bombs landing on Okeanos, that detonate's going to seal it. 4 units to 1 here. Faint Memory's going to take this one quite easily.
Yep, and there you have it. Faint Memory with a 2-0 against FALLPANDA. The bombs, the control, the reset, heavily favoring Faint Memory.
I mean, I just thought that one was a very classic outdrafting there. I mean, FALLPANDA with 4 picks locked in. When you have 4 picks locked in and you're missing a key critical piece like speed or immunity or both, your opponent then has 2 more picks to round that out and then gridlock you. And that's exactly what we saw. We saw the Ganny, we saw the Dover, we saw the Sierra, all of them tee off on opponents that don't have immunity. FALLPANDA not having any of that, and Faint Memory just ran circles around his opponent.
That's right, and it felt like there was no issue of, again, the lack of LDs. Yet again, Faint Memory finding a way to get it done, really controlling that match, as you said, the bombs right there. And how about that for FALLPANDA? 0-2 in round 1, 0-2 in round 2, and then, you know, that's your tournament. You know, that feels a little tough for him, doesn't it?
But it does feel tough, but at the end of the day, if I'm FALLPANDA, I still know that I have so many LDs in my box, I'm a happy guy.
You can always fall back on the box if it looks as nice as his does. What did we learn about Faint Memory moving forward in his semifinals match that he's going to have later?
He is still a clean drafter. Faint Memory, he's strong, he's powerful, he doesn't need these LD Nat 5s. And maybe it didn't show in day 1. He was a little unlucky, but here we are in the elimination bracket, and he's doing his thing.
Yeah, he definitely is. As we take a look at that elimination bracket, our day 3 bracket, Faint Memory moving on against POPOPANDA. Took down one of them, Now he has to take down the other Panda and POPOPANDA. Congrats to FAINTMEMORY. Now, let's move down to the bottom side of the bracket because we've got a pretty juicy matchup in this one with JLN2 and JMAK. And JMAK was a part of that fantastic day 2 match, in my opinion, the best game in the tournament, but fell on the short side of the stick. So will he be able to bounce back? Let's find out. Guys, what are your thoughts about this matchup?
I mean, my thoughts here, honestly, I do favor JMAK a bit. JMAK, as we've seen through his streams, does draft very intelligently, competes for speed a lot more. We haven't really seen JLN2 have a lot of speed. JLN2 has a ragdoll in his box, but again, with that pre-ban, JMAK really only has to fight that in one match. JMAK does have that Dark Panda, does have that Han, and again, has more speed in his box, so I think that's going to give him a lot of advantage in this matchup.
Yeah, I think JLN2 hopefully has done a lot of research going into this matchup against JMAK. We saw a lot of Triana Vanessa combination coming from a little bit of Ragdoll Masha from JLN2. And I think that might be more towards what we're looking for. JLN2 is more high damage, more first turn. If you can take that on JMAK, it's going to be a tough match, though.
Yeah, and again, you could see the difference there from Season 12 to Season 13 for JLN2, a little bit more standard for JMAK. And this matchup, again, final opportunity for both these guys after a heartbreaker against Ken Baller for JMAK, JLN2 falling earlier as well. How do you feel like it's going to go?
I mean, I still feel like JMAK is the favored one here, but at the same time, procs can change anything. So if JLN2 has adjusted and does not pick stationary comps like he did last week, I think he's got a much better chance. But JMAK, of course, being the faster drafter with the faster units, I think is always going to have the upper hand here when he has those Chiwus, those Okis, a very, very hard-hitting Sierra. I do like that box a little bit more.
Yeah, I'd have to give it to JMAK as well. I think JMAK's going to be a little bit more aggressive going into this match. JLN2 might respond better this time around, though.
Yep.
Not going to count him out yet.
Well, we'll get to find out. His Ragdoll didn't have as much impact in the last game against POPOPANDA. Will it? Let's find out right now. Guys, take it away. The lower bracket underway.
Here we go, guys. JMAK and JLN2, round 1 between the two of them in our match number 3 of today.
This is going to be an exciting one here. Obviously, again, the Stone Star crew here. We saw THOMAS.SEA with that 900 whole points here being knocked out early. Hopefully that's not an omen for JMAK. JMAK here is likely going to pre-ban that Ragdoll first, and it'll be interesting to see what JLN2 pre-bans. JLN2 does have first pick, so he knows he's likely going to get that Hathor if Ragdoll is a pre-ban from JMAK. But JLN2 also needs to respect the fact that JMAK does have 2 LDs, so Han and Dark Panda are 2 alternating first picks that could be made here.
I'm curious if we might see a Daphnis ban coming out of JLN2. That might show a little bit of homework done on JMAK. We're going to find out, though, Daphnis being a very strong common pick for JMAK.
Yeah, it really depends if that Ragdoll's in the match or not. Ragdoll being quite strong in a Daphnis, oftentimes if you can survive that initial burst. But we'll see here. I could see JLN2 also thinking about the speed and control units of JMAK and not necessarily taking out an LD unit.
Well, both LD Nat 5s are going to be pre-banned in this one. Ragdoll getting pre-banned by JMAK. Han getting pre-banned by JLN2.
Again, no surprise there. You want to take out the monster that you don't have. Han being very strong, able to guarantee a kill on its own, and has a speed lead. And of course, Ragdoll, we all know Ragdoll is at the top of every single tier list. So it is quite strong and definitely banned. JLN2 going to Hathor first pick, and the counter picks are Fran and Gani as expected.
Yeah, super standard first picks coming out of JLN2 and JMAK. Splitting the Gani Hathor, JMAK taking that Fran to help his attack buffed units.
And I think JLN2 does need to respect the Sierra and take the Sierra. I would like to see a Sierra Oki or Sierra Daphnis, I think are the 2 picks here. We all know that everyone runs a very strong Sierra at this point. JMAK's probably very strong, and we see that Sierra Daphnis not going for the Oki. Either is fine here, a lot of aggression. JMAK obliges with that Vanessa Oki. I love these 2 picks from JMAK because it counters, that Oki counters all 3 of JLN2's units very hard. At the same time, that Vanessa could be very tanky with that anti-fire artifact, and maybe just let that Daphnis through.
Yep, we'll see. Strong picks when you can get a double reset Gani Okeanos through. JMAK looking very good with control, but we're seeing a different JLN2 today. We're seeing a very aggressive draft coming out of him.
Yeah, no more Vanessa Trianas, no more stationary comps here. I do like the Elucia. Even though Fran is likely not the pre-ban here, Elucia does signal the ability to cleanse your team, and if you proc, you're able to keep your team up. And JMAK kind of has a tough choice here. He has that Gani Oki grid lockdown on his opponent, but at the same time does need more damage, and that's exactly what he brings. He brings that Dover. Dover is a unit that does need to be addressed because JLN2 is very light on the reset, turn 1 reset side. So if that Dover's not addressed, his team is going to be controlled.
Yep, that's right. So no immunity for JLN2. Not a lot of sustain, just with that Alucia. Dover looking very, very strong against him.
I could see JLN2 taking out that Vanessa in anticipation of his Sierra being taken out here. But at the same time, I think I really like JMAK's draft here with that double control coming out. Any combination, it gives him a lot of AoE control.
Yep, bans are out. Daphnis getting banned by JMAK. Dova getting banned by JLN2. Speed leads going out for the two of them.
Tough spot for JLN2. Once JMAK gets that immunity on board, he has a Ganny Oki lockdown. That's very impressive.
Yep, very, very impressive. Here we go, guys. We've got round 1 between JLN2 and JMAK. Masha taking first turn.
And this Okeanos is on Will, so Masha's not going to be able to do anything. That's a very fast Masha, but its speed does not matter when your opponent's on full Will. Does that reset land?
Does get the reset onto the Hathor. Hathor is not going to have any skills up here. Looks like Unifocus is going to be staying this Okeanos.
And no reset coming up, so that Fran's going to be able to throw down its throw down immunity soon. At the same time, that Ganny Oki lockdown is coming.
Yep, Alucia looking for the 2-turn sleep onto the Okeanos. Lands it.
Yeah, and again, all JMAK needs to do is put up shields, protect himself from that Ciara, let Ganymede refresh that, reset control attack bars. This looks very much in favor of JMAK.
Very much so. JLN2 could get luckier. We're going to find out as this match progresses. Nice skill 1 for the glancing on top of Alucia. Might repeat as well. Gets the ventilate back onto the Fran.
That's a very unlucky proc. I know we usually like procs, but not JMAK in this situation because his Ganymede's going to get blown up and does not have the ability to use skill 3 next.
Oh, Ciara's going to put a bomb on top of that Ganymede. I think he definitely needs to set it off. Chooses not to set off the bomb. It could get cleansed by this Fran.
Chooses not to set it off, decides that he wants to force the cleanse out. That's a lot of damage from the attack buff. Vanessa going out.
Yep, big defense break on top of Ciara with an additional turn, pummeling more damage here.
Yeah, pummeling more damage here, but at the same time, this Ganymede does have this bomb on his head. Does have skill 3 up though, so he's going to be able to dump attack bars soon.
Yep, Lucia going to be cleansing and pushing up that Ciara.
Yeah, and again, that Ciara shaking off defense break. That's quite a tanky Ciara here, but again, JMAK does have that skill 3 from Ganny, skill 3 from Oki following suit, so that's going to be a lot of damage and control coming out from JMAK.
Seal of Magic goes out onto Ciara. Vanessa with the defense break on top of Ciara as well. Ciara looking to pump a little bit more damage on top of that Ganymede, hoping that bomb will finish as well.
So JLN2 needs to pray to RNGesus and get some procs because he is facing a lockdown right now with this full team stun from Oki.
There is the full team stun. JMAK loses the Ciara in the process as well. JMAK trying to focus out that Masha first.
Very well drafted by JMAK, and now he has put himself into a position to play Solitaire because at this point, JLN2 can't do anything against a fully immunity team of JMAK.
Unit of focus still going to be that Masha. Okeanos dropping it right off the beast. Hathor with a skill 2 to gain some sort of traction for JLN2.
And again, however, at the same time, JLN2 does not have a reset. This Vanessa's super tanky. He's going to need a million procs, and at the same time, don't know if he has it in him.
I'm not too sure we're going to see that coming from JLN2, but JLN2 is going to do his best to hold on.
JLN2 enjoying every last moment he has in SWC. This is only game 1 of the match here, but he's taking his time thinking about how he could have drafted better. Don't think he was expecting that will on that Okeanos there. So JMAK is going to take this one.
Yep, that was a lot of damage going back onto the Ganymede. Ganymede does not have ventilate because he had ventilated up the Okeanos. Okeanos looking for a full team stun, and this is what you were talking about. There's just too much control for JMAK here. JMAK's able to lock down his units. He has all the resets in the world, and there you have it. Round 1 going to JMAK over JLN2.
Victory goes to the Stone Star player here. JMAK drafting very well with that Dover, exploiting the fact that JLN2 didn't really have immunity, and then again putting Will on his Okeanos, signifying that he didn't care if that Masha was on Swift or not. Oftentimes you don't know if they're Swift or they're Violent, and Swift Masha users tend to think that your opponent is not on Will, and quite honestly, that took JLN2 by surprise, I'll bet.
Yep, Masha, not like her other sisters, Savannah and Barbara, not able to get the strip.
Not able to get the strip, and of course, when you're a Ganny Oki user, you're looking to get that lockdown down. He got that lockdown in and was able to take control of the match.
Yep, well, here we go, guys. Can JLN2 redeem himself, or can JMAK get the 2-0 on JLN2? Pre-bans from last time, Ragdoll and Han.
So JLN2 will have access to the Ragdoll this time, which makes Okeanos a lot weaker. because of course the attack bar boost that you get when you have Ragdoll kind of nullifies how much that the Okeanos does. JLN2 probably will take out the Dark Panda from JMAK's side just because you don't want to deal with an LD Nat 5. JMAK may decide to take out some sort of a speed unit from JLN2's side, maybe a Masha, given the fact that JMAK does not have a Beast Rider.
Ooh, well, Vanessa and Okeanos getting pre-banned in this match.
Vanessa and Oki being pre-banned. Interesting. So we don't see Gani or Hathor being pre-banned. So JMAK also has to take either Gani or Hathor. Can't really afford to give both up. And there's also Sierra left on the table too.
Yep, Hathor getting first pick by JMAK. Possible Gani, Ciara being drafted by JLN2. We're going to see the Fran Gani being drafted by JLN2.
We see the Fran Gani, but at the same time, JMAK does have access to Sierra. And when he does take Sierra here, JLN2 is not going to have access to any speed lead. So JLN2 is going to be a lot slower. JMAK has pulled a Fire Beast Rider. So JMAK does have a Masha on the table. We don't know if this is Violent or Swift, but JLN2 is going to have to think about that one.
Yep, definitely is. Speed lead for JMAK's side of the field. Just a small speed lead sitting on top of JLN2. And we're going to be looking at a Ragdoll being drafted by JLN2 and one more unit.
And there is no Okeanos on JLN2's side to be able to control JMAK's team, so quite difficult. And JMAK going with the lockdown here, going with the Chiwu double speed lead and the Ileana. Ileana's going to sit under this Hathor and Masha and be able to allow him to cycle turns. So Chiwu has to be the ban because that's how he's going to gain control. Amelia is a force ban as well, but that Ragdoll needs to give his team a lot of attack bar because JMAK's just going to be able to tee off here.
Exactly. 24 speed lead for JMAK's side of the field. JMAK most likely taking first turn here. Here we go, guys. We've got round 2 between JMAK and JLN2.
JMAK gets to sleep off on the Fran, so that's huge here. The Ileana might move in front of the Ganymede, so we'll see if that comes into play.
You can see JLN2 looking to get that strip onto the Ileana, not receiving it here.
Not receiving it, but does have to lock down that Hathor. But again, Ileana with 2 units under it. At the same time, it's going to allow JMAK to be able to use Sierra and just constantly bomb, lay a lot of damage here. That Fran has got to be the target choice here.
Yep, Ileana getting some shields up. You can see the invincibility being chosen on top of Masha.
Yeah, JMAK is going to lose that immunity here. So again, this is a unit that Savannah could go onto. JMAK needs to do a lot of damage to Fran.
Bomb does land on top of Fran. Torrance coming out on top of Ciara. Ciara took it pretty well.
Ciara took it definitely quite well. It is very tanky. Does not get defense break on that Fran.
No defense break on top of Fran. That is a tough one to see, but you see the big bomb does detonate, removing the Ciara the Fran from the field.
Fran's gone from the field here, and again, JLN2 does have the ability to give defense break, but JLN2 is down a unit here, so he needs to take out the Sierra and trade.
Yep, Venelite going right back on Savannah. Savannah looking to capitalize off that defense break, sitting on top of that Ciara. Masha trying to pummel more damage on top of Savannah. And there's JLN2 trying to take advantage of that defense break on top of Ciara.
Yeah, but at the same time here, JMAK's going to be able to stabilize. He does have Ileana. It's going to shake off defense break. And you have a Masha going into 2 win units, so I really like JMAK's position here. I think JMAK is going to move on to face Thompson.
Yep, bomb does land on top of Savannah. Not looking good for Savannah. Savannah may be stunned up and not on that beast after this.
Definitely not looking good for Savannah. Savannah does land its defense breaks, but at the same time, I mean, JLN2 is down.
The enemy looking to pummel and take advantage of that defense break on top of Ciara. Ciara needs some sort of additional turn coming out. Does not. We might be losing the Ciara right here from this torrent. Chooses to go after the Masha instead.
I think he has to go for the greed here. Does need to take the Masha off of the beast here, knowing the fact that his units can take out Ciara later.
Ooh, there it is. Savannah drops the Masha. Both the Beast Riders are off their beast. You can see Ganymede does finish off Ciara and gets the additional turn for the reset of attack bars.
Great patient play from JLN2, actually recognizing the attack bar differences here and is able to use less damage to take out this Ciara later. Now takes that beast, the Fire Beast Rider off its beast.
Yep, Ileana getting some turn cycling going on right now. Shields and invincibility up, pushing up that Masha. Masha dropping the Savannah.
Yeah, this Masha's going to be able to hit again because it does have invincibility up, so JMAK just needs that Hathor to come online and is going to be able to control this Ragdoll.
Unit of focus for JLN2 is going to be this Hathor. He knows he can't stop that third skill from coming out unless he can get a reset on it. Poke damage goes back onto Hathor. Hathor for the attack break on top of Ragdoll.
Yeah, but once this glancing and attack break are on this Ragdoll here, this Ragdoll's not going to do very much. Ileana is able to boost itself, and he's going to have another round of invincibilities.
Yep, shields and invincibilities coming out once again for JMAK. Very, very strong unit Ileana is, be able to violent proc and get those additional turns, keeping up those shields and immunity.
Yeah, an interesting choice not to go after Ragdoll, but again, JMAK does know the damage on his Masha, decides to go after Ganymede here and just slowly whittle away at this Ragdoll.
Trying to reapply that glancing on a Ragdoll, not receiving it, but the additional turn once again comes out for this Ileana. Ileana finally landing that glancing. Masha dropping the Ganymede, gets the additional turn as well. The unit of focus is a lonely Ragdoll. We're going to see an ignore defense Torrent coming out.
And we're going to see that Torrent, and then he's going to wave goodbye and leave the tournament because that's the end of this match here.
Drops that Ileana, not built on violent, not built on vampire. It is built on violent, and you can see Masha is going to be dropping that Ragdoll there. There you have it. JMAK taking round 2.
What a well-drafted, just overall draft. What a well-drafted team by JMAK. I mean, he was able to balance against that Ragdoll very well, was able to dip into Masha, showing us a Masha. We did not know that he had a Masha. I made a comment in the backstage that JMAK doesn't have Beast Riders. He might be in trouble here. Clearly not the case. Drafting very well, using Ileana very well, controlling JLN2's team there and taking that very convincingly 2-0.
That's Ileana showing why she's such a strong unit. So many additional turns, boosting up itself, keeping up with the invincibility and the shields. Ileana was extremely impressive, being able to boost up that Masha. So much damage came in JLN2's way.
Yeah, and we're so used to seeing Ciara's success. Ciara went undefeated so far earlier today. Now Ciara getting held in check here. Masha, Ileana, can you explain that combination a little bit more and why that was so effective against Ragdoll?
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, I mean, Ragdoll just kind of sits there sometimes, right? And doesn't really do much on its own. So Ragdoll, his team basically got controlled, essentially. It just, JMAK was able to manipulate the game in whichever way he wanted with that Ileana, being able to boost up different units and apply bombs and all that stuff.
Yep, well with that, it's we bid adieu to JLN2, unfortunate for him. But JMAK will be moving on in the bracket as we take a look at that here and has a tough plate here. If he's gonna earn his ticket, he's earning it the toughest way on through with THOMPSIN sitting there in the semifinal matchup. Only one of them will be able to move on through the tournament. And here we go. It's the last match of the quarterfinals here. IGORES, the pride of Brazil, up against ZEFARIOUS. Guys, this is a big one here. Someone's tournament life ends right now. How do you feel about this matchup? Make it a butt.
This is an interesting one because both are Gianna abusers. So it'll be interesting whenever you see two Gianna abusers going head-to-head. It'll be interesting to see how they do their pre-bans, how they pick their Gianna with respect to the Ganny-Hathor combination. I do favor ZEFARIOUS in this matchup a bit just because Igor made a few technical mistakes in his last one here. I think ZEFARIOUS' drafts have generally been quite clean, but at the same time, I think IGORES does have faster runes here. He does have his whole country supporting him, and that goes a long way.
Yep, big match for Brazil here. Igor needs to play well up against ZEFARIOUS. He needs to start digging into his opponent's box, even though they share a Gianna. So we'll see how it works out for the two of them here.
Yeah, well, we don't have to wait long because these two competitors are ready to go. Only one will stay and book their ticket to the semifinals. Let's find out right now.
And here we go, guys. IGORES, ZEFARIOUS going into our last match here. And best of luck to the two of them.
Best of luck to the two of them. You note that ZEFARIOUS has 3 red stars. IGORES has 2 red stars. Both of them are Gianna users. IGORES does also have more LDs. He does have that Asima, generally faster units. So we'll see if ZEFARIOUS decides to go with the slower style of play today, or if he just decides to play standard and go with maybe some sort of Chiwus, Okeanos, and so on and so forth. Interesting that they're taking a lot of time on their pre-bans here. ZEFARIOUS does have first pick. So I think this is a kind of a rock, paper, scissors of who's going to pre-ban Gianna, who's going to pre-ban Hathor. We see the Chiwu being pre-banned by ZEFARIOUS, Gianna being taken out by IGORES, so ZEFARIOUS is likely going to take out that Hathor. We're going to likely see some sort of a Fran Ganny or Ganny Ciara coming out from IGORES.
Yep, possibly. So let's see the split going out here. We can't forget that Igor does have that Jaeger as well. We saw that on day 1, or I'm sorry, day 2. It didn't work out for him, but we may see it in play again up against ZEFARIOUS.
As long as he's not bringing that Jaeger into Vigors and a lot of things that counter it, he's in a great spot. It is a strong unit. Look to see a Ciara Ganny here. Obviously, we know that Igor is going to favor Ciara a lot because both are Gianna users, and Gianna users love to favor their Ciaras. So we'll see what ZEFARIOUS decides to do. Does he want to fight the speed game? Does he want to stay neutral? Or does he want to go totally slow? And I could see definitely wants to keep his options open. Goes with that Vanessa Fran, which leaves him a little open to an Okeanos Daphnis or some sort of maybe a Barbara Daphnis, some sort of unit that attacks the speed, the lack of speed from the Fran and the Vanessa.
Yep, we'll see. Very common drafted picks here. We've seen this in a lot of our matches today. Obviously splitting the Gani Hathor into Vanessa, Fran, Ciara's right after that. Curious to see if Igor is going to break that mold, bringing out something we haven't seen yet.
Well, he does go with the Barbara, and he does go with the Velajul. So Barbara, as expected, Velajul giving him a piece of immunity here. And Velajul very good into Hathor. Hathor with the skill 2, landing less than 50% of the time on that Velajul. So I do like that Velajul pick a lot. But again, Zefarious going with that Fire Art Master that we've seen. And then going with the Savannah here. So likely the ban here is going to be the Velajul coming out from Zefarious' side. That's what he's signaling to us. Or it could be the Ciara. Either or is fine here. IGORES does need to decide how he's going to fight the speed battle, because clearly this is a draft of speed. I would like to see an Okeanos or even a Triton would be quite interesting. Something to be able to give him that speed advantage.
I love that Zefarious is bringing back that Fire Art Master. It was great to see it before. It didn't work out for him. Igor with a rushed last pick. He saw the daftness before, takes it back, brings out the Asima. I am not too sure that's what he meant to. I think this happened to him on his on day 2 as well, where he was force picked a unit. And we've got an Asima coming out for Igor.
Well, that panic pick here means that he's taken out that Fire Art Master, which allows IGORES to have that Velajul left on the table. So Zefarious needs to knock out that Velajul, but at the same time, IGORES doesn't have a single strip. So once this friend goes online, Zefarious has this match.
Yep, well, speed leads for both teams. Zefarious and Igor. Can Brazil pull this one off, or can Zefarious get the upset once again? Let's go. Igor with first turn here. Ganymede can't reset anybody, just a little bit of poke damage going out.
Ganymede can't do anything turn 1 because it is too fast here. Speed not being great here. And Zefarious with a very fast Fran ain't going to be able to throw up immunities and just going to be able to pick off units at this point.
There's the immunity attack buff coming out of Zefarious, looking to focus out this Velajul first. Gets the additional turn as well.
Gets the additional turn, does land that strip. So at this point, IGORES is going to go to sleep here. Zefarious is going to work down this Asima, and that's going to be the end of this game.
Daily Promise goes out. Does not get any attack bar reduction on the Velajul or the Ciara. Gets the additional turn, though.
Does not get attack bar reduction, but at the same time, 2-turn sleep is a very long time.
That is. Defense break going out onto the Asima. Does not land that defense break. No additional turns there.
But that Velajul does proc, so it does not have sleep on it anymore. So Zefarious does need to answer this, otherwise Igor is going to be able to pick up his team.
Well, let's see if Savannah can supply enough damage on top of that defense broken unit.
Savannah does need to quit, decides not to go for it here. Interesting choice, trusts his Vanessa a lot.
Yep, choosing to go after this Asima. Asima does hold on, does not drop here. It is attack broken. We're not going to see a lot of damage coming out of it.
We're going to see a lot of dots, and we don't know what the build is, but maybe some stuns here.
No, but we do get defense break sitting on top of the Hathor and Vanessa Savannah. Finally, Velajul is going to get that skill 3 cleansing and boosting up his team.
Boosting up his team indeed, and that Asima is going to move again. And of course, Zefarious does have a bomb and then does have that Ganymede, so that's a lot of damage that's going to be pumped into Zefarious' side of the field.
Yep, not looking too bad for Igor now. Bomb does land on top of that Vanessa. Can he choose to detonate it? Maybe remove this Vanessa from the field.
Definitely think he should be thinking about it, but at the same time, could just cycle attack bar. It doesn't really matter. IGORES does have a lot of damage right now.
Does choose Den. It gets the additional turn from Ciara as well. Bomb will come up next turn. Goes for a nice skill 1 on top of that Savannah. We might be seeing a skill 2 coming out of Asima.
At the same time, that Ganymede does have skill 3, so he's going to be able to reset that Vanessa, then take out the Beast Rider. I really like IGORES' position here.
Yep, Igor looking very, very good. He may be cleansing up that Vanessa, try and save it.
Does need to cleanse out the Vanessa and save it, but once that Vanessa's reset, this Savannah's going down. It has a 2-turn defense break, so IGORES is going to be able to take out and trade units here.
Yep, Seal of Magic goes on to Vanessa, dumping attack bars. Bomb coming out once again.
Bomb likely going to go out in the Fran here, then he's going to auto-attack the Savannah. Needs to get greedy here and take out a lot of units. Decides to miss the bomb on the Savannah.
Misses the bomb on top of the Savannah. He's able to cycle and take advantage of that defense break on the Hathor as well. Igor all over the place with his targeting.
Yeah, decides that he's going to use the Velajul to take out Savannah because that's a lot of damage coming out from
That is a lot of damage. A lot of damage coming from that Velajul. Finishes off that Savannah. Igor's still not looking too bad right now.
Igor looking not too bad indeed. Looks like he's going to take this first game.
Goes to ventilate back on Asima. Asima's got skill 3 up here.
Got skill 3 and skill 2.
Gets the Despair Stones on everybody, but we get the additional turn from the Fran. Looking to drop the Asima and does so. Not looking good for Zefarious at all.
Not looking great for Zefarious, but looking amazing for IGORES. Can we get those ja-ja-ja's in chat for your Brazilian player who is taking game 1?
And there you go, Igor taking round 1 against ZEFARIOUS.
What a pick by Igor. That panic pick of the Asima, able to come online because that Velodrol procced. A lot of people say you can't proc when you're under sleep. Well, yes, you can. You just don't exactly take a turn yet. It procced, it wasn't slept, and somehow ZEFARIOUS decided not to go for the crit onto the Velodrol. That's exactly what he needed to do. He didn't kill out the Asima, and he should have gone for the kill on the Velodrol because once that Velodrol's gone, he would win the game. It's not lucky for ZEFARIOUS that he has to do that, but that's the play he has to make. Did not make the right play, and he got punished for it.
It took one violent proc to turn that match around, and it worked out in Igor's favor. Awesome match there with Igor and ZEFARIOUS.
Great match there. Can't wait to see more LD units. That was a blast. So we see a pre-ban on the Gianna from Igor's side last time, and Chiwoo from ZEFARIOUS last time. So we may see some sort of a reversal. ZEFARIOUS may be deciding to pre-ban the Gianna, not letting Igor take that first. But at the same time, with first pick, I could also see a Hathor being pre-banned, not letting Igor take that first.
Yep, very well could. Very interesting to see what the pre-bans go out, because obviously ZEFARIOUS is going to have first pick here. He'll be taking that Gianna if Gianna does not get pre-banned.
Definitely, but at the same time, if neither Hathor nor Gianna are taken, that kind of makes this game very interesting. Doesn't matter. In this situation, we have a Gianna and a Hathor take pre-ban, so Igor ES likely going to lay down probably a Sierra or a Fran.
And I was wrong. Igor does have the first pick going into this match here. Possible Fran, possible Sierra coming from Igor.
I think it's either a Fran, Sierra, or Gani, but likely Sierra or Fran here. And I think if Igor is aggressive, going to go with the Sierra.
There you go. Igor, first pick in that CR. ZEFARIOUS looking to respond.
And I think ZEFARIOUS will take a Vanessa for sure. He tends to favor his speed lead, his counter pick speed lead earlier. I think you can take it later, but he's going to take the Vanessa here and likely either Gani or Fran to round out his draft here.
And there's the Fran Gani being drafted by ZEFARIOUS. Very standard drafts, this SWC for America's Cup.
Very standard drafts and also very patient pick by ZEFARIOUS here. Of course, Vanessa doesn't need to be taken now, so great choice of Fran and Gani. Igor ES now as a choice. I could likely see a Daphnis or a Chiwoo and a Savannah. So going super aggressive here. And if I'm ZEFARIOUS, I'm really thinking about turn 2 comps here because you don't have your Gianna, or he could lay down some sort of a Vanessa Okeanos here and still play the speed game.
Yeah, I think Vanessa's definitely coming up for ZEFARIOUS, and there it is. Strong, aggressive draft from Igor. ZEFARIOUS needs one more unit to respond to this. Brings out a Leo. That's usually a sign we're going to be seeing Beast Riders going through.
I'm not sure about the Leo. There we go.
All
As predicted here, we see that Vanessa Okeanos because ZEFARIOUS still wants to play the speed game. A Leo would be a big mistake because there's already a Seer on the board and Igor has 2 picks left. So I do like that setup of ZEFARIOUS. Going more conservative standard with that Vanessa Okeanos. You're likely going to see that ban on the Chiwoo. That's what he's angling himself towards at the moment. So Igor needs to play and plan for that. Likely going to need to dip into a turn 2 team if he wants a consistent way. But has a Wunsa in his back. I love this unit. One of my favorite units in the game. He has 2 AoE units and a Wunsa. We do know ZEFARIOUS definitely has Will. So Vanessa is likely the ban here, or Okeanos. Either or is fine, but that Wunsa is just going to dominate this game because either way he's going to outspeed. And now that Leo's thrown down, Leo has to be the ban. And if I'm ZEFARIOUS, I'm just going to ban out that Wunsa and pray that I resist a lot from this Chiwoo.
Yep, strong, aggressive picks coming out of Igor. This might be the one to take it against ZEFARIOUS as long as he bans appropriately. Bans out the Asima.
Interesting choice of bans out the Asima, so ZEFARIOUS is praying to resist gods here, knowing that he's going to be stripped here. He's going to need to resist a lot from the Savannah and a lot from this Sierra here. Sierra actually does need to get a few procs because Igor may not have enough damage to take out something from ZEFARIOUS early on.
Well, ZEFARIOUS not showing a ton of damage as well. Speed leads for both teams, 33 for ZEFARIOUS, 24 for Igor. Can Igor provide enough damage to take the 2-0 against ZEFARIOUS? Let's find out together.
Let's find out. As expected here, Wunsa does take first turn, and we're going to see Savannah coming up next.
Here we go, looking for the inhale, getting the full strip. And we have Chiwoo possibly looking to push back attack bars.
Chiwoo's got to use skill 2 to prevent immunity going up from 1 unit. So let's see what Igor decides to put this up on.
Does go for the attack bar pushback instead.
Does go for the attack bar pushback instead, which is interesting because if this Fran goes off, he's going to have nothing to strip with, so I'm not sure about that play from Igor. At the same time, Savannah does now need to land on everything and does not do so.
Doesn't get full defense breaks, misses it on the Vanessa. Vanessa being a unit that probably wants to eliminate first. Bomb is going to be coming out now.
Yeah, but at the same time, ZEFARIOUS is threatening a Gani Oki lockdown. Very dangerous lockdown here. Bomb does have to go out in Fran, but again, Gani Oki lockdown is coming soon.
Yep. Chooses not to detonate. It gets the additional turn as well.
Yeah, so IGORES' plays a little bit interesting here. Even if that Fran were to go down, you have that Vanessa passive, and again, you have that Gani and Okeanos coming on board soon. This Wunsa needs to be a Hathor and sleep things right now.
There's the defense break, does land on top of Ciara. We're gonna see possibly skill 2 onto that Fran.
I think we need to see a skill 1 shoot for the moon and go for luck here, and he goes for a skill 2 on the Okeanos.
And Okeanos still alive, handling very well. Ciara very, very fast.
Actually, that's right. Super fast Sierra.
Oh, but misses the bomb on top of Okeanos.
Needs to go for the kill on the Oki. Needs to auto attack. Does have 2 units following, so Igor still has damage. Once he takes out that Okeanos, ZEFARIOUS does not have a lockdown.
Yep, chooses to go right after that Okeanos. Is that skill 2 going to be enough to drop Oki?
That skill 2 should definitely be enough. If not, he has 1 more unit in Savannah following up.
Does drop that Okeanos. Savannah is going to be following up, looking very good for the very aggressive Igor.
Looking extremely great for Igor, putting down ZEFARIOUS' units here. ZEFARIOUS now has 2 units left. And that does not look like it's enough to keep him in this tournament.
Does not. Igor taking round 2 for Brazil.
Great draft by Igor. A little bit interesting of an opener there. I thought he would have saved that Chiwoo skill 3-4 if in case he needed to go on that Fran once that Fran threw up shields. But at the same time, maybe he was just going for more damage. But what took me by surprise was how fast that Sierra was. Able to just do so much damage to that Oki was not something I was expecting, and ultimately allowed Igor to just take off ZEFARIOUS' units off the bat.
Yeah, Igor drafted aggressively, he played aggressively, and it worked out for him.
Yeah, he definitely did. And the Chiwoo Wound says something we're seeing a lot more in the APAC region. And pays off here. The aggressive plays is what we expected from Igor. Again, the pride of Brazil able to do it again and book his ticket to the semifinals and has the opportunity to represent Brazil in the America's Cup. That was one heck of a just like a crazy flip, but he knew the speeds and was able to get the speeds and get the units down before the lockdown could come in, right?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, he knew his Sierra was super fast. I wouldn't be surprised if that thing was plus 170, plus 160. Super fast Sierra, did a ton of damage. And ZEFARIOUS also, on the other side, very slow. Didn't expect this. And just got cycled on and lost the Okeanos.
Yeah, well, he was put in a tough position in the draft, and ZEFARIOUS says goodbye to his world opportunity because only one of them could move on as we take a look at the bracket. There it is. The semifinals are now complete. We know who will be playing for those 4 spots. DRMZJOSEPH and TOPAV. How's TOPAV? I don't know. He's the new rapper name. POPOPANDA against FAINTMEMORY. THOMPSIN against JMAK, and Tree against Igor. These are huge matches. Only 4 will be able to move on. All right. Gonna take a short break before we head on in. We do have a little bit of a gift for you guys that have been watching. You know you've been spamming it in the chat. 2020 last chance, 100,000 mana and 1 mystical scroll for all you out there. We're gonna take a short break here in the preliminaries. When we come back, we'll know the 4 players that will book in their ticket to the America's Cup. We'll see you in a little bit.
Summoner's War. Shoryuken! means left is the champion! What the #1 summoner of 2019?
Summoner's War.
昇竜拳
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the SWC 2020 America's Cup Preliminaries Day 3. I'm Daniel Digon Gonzalez. You see that? Bam! Right there. That's where it is, because I can hear it in my ear the whole time. And also, these lovely gentlemen over here are the casters that have been leading the whole way. Make it a bud and stow it. Guys, that was a heck of a start. What did you think?
I mean, I thought we saw some great, exciting matches there. I mean, that Faint Memory one, I mean, the way he handled those drafts and was able to dominate his opponent, thoroughly out-drafting his opponent, was interesting and great to see.
Yep, I loved Igor. Igor did an amazing job. Very aggressive drafting coming out of Igor. I think this is what we needed to see from him. Some questionable plays going throughout the matches, but ultimately Igor did his job.
Yep, Igor did his job, as well as three other players to book their ticket to the semifinals. And now this is where it gets to the nitty-gritty as we take a look at the bracket. Players, if they lose, they go home. DRMZJOSEPH, TOPAV, POPOPANDA, FAINTMEMORY, THOMPSIN and JMAK, and Tree and IGORES. These are some really heavy hitters still in this possibility where they might not go. I'm looking down there on the bottom side of the map. Thompson and Tree, the two representatives at America's Cup. Guys, thoughts on how this bracket shapes up right now?
I mean, this bracket could be anyone's game for a lot of these matchups. These are the popular players we've seen throughout the years. Some of the favorites, Thompson, FAINTMEMORY, Tree, in the loser bracket fighting for their tournament lives here. It's win or go home, and they could be eliminated here.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at that first match that is coming up right now. TOPAV and DRMZJOSEPH. DRMZJOSEPH was able to win a match in day number 2, which is why he had to sit back and take a look at what TOPAV was able to pull out. Let's take a look at TOPAV's match from earlier that he was able to go on in and win and book himself that semifinals over Thomas.
Yeah, TOPAV just being able to navigate this draft very well. And of course, having more tools in his toolbox, making it a little bit difficult for C. Thomas to deal with him. At the same time, just being able to steal that Masha later on was a lot, and Thomas just wasn't able to deal with it.
Yeah, going into Molon comms like that, I think it's very one-dimensional. TOPAV did draft appropriately, and he was able to handle that.
Yeah, and at the same time, again, Thomas, you see here laying down that Leo early, cost him because that Vertihile went off and ultimately gave TOPAV the game there.
Yeah, again, we take a look at TOPAV's journey so far. One of the highest rated players in the tournament. And again, unlucky to pull Raigeki, who was the one that qualified from day number 1, now has a tall task against him when you look across the side. He's up against DRMZJOSEPH. Again, just one of these legacy players, been around for such a long time, hails from Peru, and has had a lot of success, including a little bit of success in the day 2 qualifiers.
Yeah, this will be an interesting matchup for sure here. I do give the edge a little bit to TOPAV, but of course, DRMZJOSEPH, as you know, has been around for a long time, previous America's Cup champion back 2 years ago, drafts very cleanly, but nowadays we do see him go with that turn 2 route a lot here, so may lose sight of that first turn order of that draft a little bit, and so that'll be very critical against opponent like TOPAV.
Yep, it is. TOPAV is going to be drafting a lot of control. I think DRMZJOSEPH is definitely prepared for it. I mean, I think we've seen some VELODUEL play coming out of it. It might be a unit he might want to bring up against TOPAV.
Yeah, and of course you see DRMZJOSEPH, very standard picks here, right? Gani, Hathor, Fran, Vanessa, Sierra, you know, it's going to balance that speed, has that control, but again, we've seen him take those vigors, a lot of these turn 2 units that may sometimes put him on the back foot.
Yeah. All right, well, the kitty gloves are off. The winner of this match will book their ticket to the America's Cup. Who will do it? Let's find out together. Stoic, take us away.
All right, guys, here we go. We have our first match between DRMZJOSEPH and TOPAV. DRMZJOSEPH, the 2018 America's Cup champion, or is it going to be TOPAV? Can TOPAV get the upset?
And I think this will be very interesting to see how they decide to balance out their pre-bans here. Obviously, Yunhong is likely pre-banned at some point, but DRMZJOSEPH actually opting not to take out the Yunhong. Earlier, we noted in a match here that it's Hathor, Gani, or Yunhong. Gani is oftentimes the engine behind Yunhong Gani comp, so taking out that Gani is actually a very wise move. I think Topa's going to take that Hathor first, and Joseph's going to take that Sierra, and then actually opts right away for the Josephine so early.
We saw a lot of Josephine play coming out of DRMZJOSEPH. It worked well for him, not so well up against Trakamu. We'll see how it plays into this one going up against TOPAV.
We'll see how it plays indeed. I think it's a little early for a Josephine drop, and we also know that Josephine's a little light on damage here. TOPAV going with that Vanessa, does not want to give up turn 1, and of course that Yunhong, very standard pick here.
Yep, there's that VELODUEL I was talking about in Vigor being drafted by DRMZJOSEPH.
And so at this point here, DRMZJOSEPH kind of taking like a comp that sits in the middle in terms of speed, 270, 280 range here. Very wide open to units like Daphnis, very open to units like Barbara. So we'll see. We'll look to see Topa probably take a more aggressive line here, probably threaten a turn 1 kill to DRMZJOSEPH.
And we'll see. TOPAV looking to wrap up his draft, possibly bring a little bit more damage, a little bit more aggression to the table. There's not a ton of aggression coming out of DRMZJOSEPH's side of the field.
I know he doesn't have a Gemini, but I'd love to see a Gemini Water Monkey or a Gemini Daphnis that would instantly win the game. Gemini Daphnis hits the table, and that instantly wins the game because all TOPAV needs to do is ban out that last unit, have Gemini go off, and you have either a Daphnis kill or a Hathor, and that's game over, and TOPAV has this by draft. DRMZJOSEPH needs to pray to RNGs because he needs that 15% resist, otherwise he's done.
Well, DRMZJOSEPH looking to respond after seeing the Gemini Daphnis from TOPAV. One last pick here. DRMZJOSEPH's going to be dropping in a Vertihile.
That Vertihile is likely the ban here. It's probably a triple revenge Vert. Doesn't matter. DRMZJOSEPH is so outdrafted here. TOPAV with the brilliant picks of that Gemini Daphnis. So much threat. Vertihile not the ban here, so TOPAV might not be able to get defense breaks off the bat, which may come into play if that's a triple revenge Verd.
Well, here we go, guys. DRMZJOSEPH, TOPAV, round 1 between the two of them. Is TOPAV going to get the control here, or can DRMZJOSEPH show that experience?
This will be an interesting one to see here.
And here we go. We have Gemini taking first turn, looking for a full team strip defense break. Does not get the strip defense break onto the Vela. Skill 2 from Vigor comes out into the additional turn.
Super unlucky. Does get a revenge proc from that Vertihile, as we talked about. So surprised to see that not banned here, and of course that's going to cost TOPAV that Gemini.
Yeah, it is. Well, Vertiheel gets the turn there, dropping that Gemini. Gemini gets revived back with that Vanessa passive. Bomb is going to be coming out on top of the Gemini. DRMZJOSEPH wants to remove this unit from the field.
DRMZJOSEPH is going to remove that unit from the field here. TOPAV does have strips from Yanhong into that Hathor, but at the same time, DRMZJOSEPH has full immunity.
There's the additional turn coming out from CR as well. She's going to bomb up next turn as well. We might be seeing a charge vitality boosting up that Hathor one more time. I don't know. We see the skill 2 getting the immunity strip on top of Vela, though.
Yeah, TOPAV does need to establish control, does need to find a way to get that skill 3 from that Hathor up, so that's exactly what he's going to be looking for.
Yep, gets that defense break sitting on top of Velajul. Can't capitalize off that damage just yet. Bomb does not land on top of Yanhong. Cycles a little bit of skill and damage onto Yanhong. You can see the focus right now for DRMZJOSEPH trying to eliminate Yanhong from the field. Daily Promise coming out from TOPAV to put everybody to sleep. Does not get the sleep on top of Vela.
Does not get the sleep on top of Vela, but Vela does not have cooldowns up yet. You see the immunity on the Vertihile, so TOPAV just need to pump damage into that Velajul.
Here we go, defense broken. Velajul. Can TOPAV get the additional turns that he really, really needs right now? Vertiheel looking to pump more damage on top of Yanhong. Vanessa trying to drop that Vela. Gets the additional turn here. Drops that Vela.
Huge proc, takes out that Vela, and again, DRMZJOSEPH team is sleeping.
Well, there's the additional turn coming out of CR. CR is able to cycle a little bit of damage, bomb, and detonate next turn for DRMZJOSEPH. We're going to see a skill 2 coming out of TOPAV.
Gonna look to aim that onto the Sierra and look to control this game from here.
Chooses to go for the attack break onto CR to make sure that bomb damage is going to be cut down.
Decides to cut down that bomb damage, but at the same time, there's a chance here that the Sierra does pop off. Not sure about the choice of not using skill 2.
Ooh, another RNG resist coming out of Yanhong. Looking for a defense break on the CR. Does not violent proc to get the additional turn.
The TOPAV demonstrating excellent foresight, knowing that he was going to resist that bomb here, is going to slowly be able to establish control.
Hathor, oh, with the additional turn coming out of Yanhong. Hathor able to put that Vigor down with the skill 2. We can see Charge Vitality going out, gets the kill on top of CR, and the additional turn once again taking advantage of this defense break. Sitting on top of Vigor, Yanhong drops that Vigor. Looking so good for TOPAV in round 1 against DRMZJOSEPH.
What a game here, TOPAV, with the foresight to know exactly what units would proc and exactly what units would resist, and was able to play accordingly. But all jokes aside, I was surprised he didn't sleep that Sierra, knowing that skills were up. I mean, if a unit got bombed, that Vanessa passive is down and he would lose the game. Maybe he felt like he needed to play that greedy in order to win. Whatever it was, he was able to sneak on by and win that. But that was an interesting choice of plays there.
It's a great example of how RNG is a cruel mistress.
It depends on which player you are. It can be great. RNG can be great, or it can be terrible. And in this case for TOPAV, it was great. DRMZJOSEPH probably thrown his phone out the window if that was his last match.
Possibly. That's how you break a device.
That's how you break a device, exactly. So here we're going to see DRMZJOSEPH likely going to be pre-banning either that Hathor or that Yanhong here, not able to take out that Ganymede. TOPAV does need to balance around that. We're going to see that Hathor pre-ban from Topa.
Yep, there's the Hathor and Yanhong getting pre-banned. DRMZJOSEPH with the first pick, possibly taking that CR, maybe even going for a Ganny against TOPAV.
Definitely see either Ganny, but also could be a Fran. I think DRMZJOSEPH tends to like his Fran more, so he does take that Fran. Topa is likely going to take that Sierra, Ganymede, or maybe even an Okeanos early on. But I do think that because TOPAV has 2 different speed leads, he may not favor the Sierra. It really depends on the player, but Sierra, Ganny are usual picks into this situation.
Going with a Sierra Vigor. Vigor being a unit DRMZJOSEPH likes to draft as well, taking that unit away from him.
Interesting choice of that Sierra Vigor. That's not exactly strong into a Savannah if DRMZJOSEPH has it. DRMZJOSEPH going for a Masha. Interesting choice here.
Vanessa Masha coming out for DRMZJOSEPH. A little bit more aggressive this time around. TOPAV looking to respond after seeing 2 fire units.
I think DRMZJOSEPH is setting up for a Velajul later here, but it's a little odd to take that Masha into a Vigor, but at the same time he does have Fran. A little odd here. I think TOPAV can double down with water. I know he doesn't have a chilling or anything like that, but a chilling or some sort of a water monkey would be very fun. Daphnis is great here. Ileana's also allows him to kind of have a little bit more survivability and manipulation in his comp.
DRMZJOSEPH bringing out that Water Druid and a second Beast Rider for him.
I actually really like this Water Druid pick here. We know that DRMZJOSEPH tends to run a tankier Vanessa, so it should survive the Daphnis skill 3, and if it does so, Abellio would be able to pick up this Vanessa here. So great pick from DRMZJOSEPH's side.
TOPAV with one last pick here. Really thinking about it, taking up his time. The Abelio and the Savannah wrapping up DRMZJOSEPH's draft.
I would like to see some more control from TOPAV, either likely an Okeanos or a Chiwu. Both would be decent picks. He doesn't have a Chiwu, so maybe an Okeanos, but at the same time goes with the Rika, so he's signaling to us that the Fran is the likely ban here.
Exactly. You don't draft that Rika saying you're not going to be banning out the immunity.
At the same time, TOPAV also doesn't have very many strips on his side, so this is very clearly a ban on the Fran, and TOPAV is going to be able to tee off on DRMZJOSEPH team with that Sierra, with that Daphnis, if he's able to get these units off.
And exactly so, Rika and Fran are going to be the bans. Speed leads for both players. 33 speed lead coming out for DRMZJOSEPH. DRMZJOSEPH needs to win this match to stay in it. Or can TOPAV get the 2-0 on DRMZJOSEPH? Let's find out together, guys, as we go in to this match here. DRMZJOSEPH with first turn. Savannah looking to defense break. Anybody gets that defense break on top of the CR, but Daphne is going to be cutting in here.
Daphne is going to be cutting in, but we'll see if it actually is able to kill a unit here. Decides to go after the Masha.
Goes after the Masha to knock this thing off the beast. Gets a defense break. Does so. Knocks it off the beast.
Great choice here, but at the same time does proc that Abelio's passive, so Abelio's going to be able to boost the team up. So Masha will be going next here. We may see a Sierra go down.
Yep, there's the boost coming out of Abelios with the additional turn as well, possibly looking for a stun.
Yeah, and again here, I do like that play by DRMZJOSEPH with that Abelio pick. Very strong pick here. Masha's probably going to do enough damage to take out Sierra.
Yep, you can see the revenge on CR, but Masha doesn't care about that revenge. Finishing off that CR with Masha.
Yeah, exactly. That's too much damage in the Sierra here, and at this point here, DRMZJOSEPH's taking out one unit. It's going to take out another. There's nothing this Vigor can do. Vigor and Ileana have not taken turns yet. That's the advantage of speed in your draft.
Definitely is. You can see the shield and immunity coming out from this Ileana. We may see a skill too. Goes for the shred instead onto Vanessa. Moves need to be made for TOPAV.
Exactly. TOPAV needs to make some moves here, but that's not being made.
Yep, there it is. Finishing off that Daphnis, looking very, very good for DRMZJOSEPH. TOPAV does not have the damage to continue.
TOPAV definitely not enough procs here. Does not have 3 sets of Violent here. It's not enough to take out DRMZJOSEPH's units.
Yep, DRMZJOSEPH showing why he was the 2018 champion and why he deserves to stay in this match.
Yeah, DRMZJOSEPH here is just slowly taking his time. TOPAV is also taking his time as well, thinking about how he wants to draft in that last one. The next match will be for elimination. It's going to be for a spot in America's Cup, so TOPAV definitely, as an experienced tournament player, knows how to take his time and think about the next match.
Yep, Vanessa able to shake off that defense break. It's not going to matter too much, but you can see the shields and immunity coming up. Additional turn with the Ileana. Ileana possibly boosting itself up just to keep those stats up, choosing to go for the glancing on top of Savannah.
Yeah, and there is a fringe chance, but again, at the same time, he did not land defense break on that Vanessa. So Vanessa's still alive here, so very unfortunate. So TOPAV still needs a cycle, needs to proc a million times. Looking a little dicey.
Yep, well, Vanessa's going to be getting those procs here. That's just too much damage on top of Vigor. It's not going to be enough here. You can see Ileana boosting herself up, looking to drop Vanessa. Does so. Skill 2 coming out, a little bit of sustain for TOPAV.
Yeah, TOPAV needs his opponent literally to never crit again for the rest of the game, but that's not happening at the moment.
Yep, Savannah with the full strip on top of Vigor, looking terrible for TOPAV. Savannah looking to finish off here. Gets the defense break on top of Vigor as well, and Abelio with the damage to finish off the Vigor. And there you have it. DRMZJOSEPH responds, taking round 2 away from TOPAV. We're going into a game 3.
Very great draft from DRMZJOSEPH, able to assert dominance with that early, fast team, and also that Belio. We have not seen a Water Druid yet, and that's a very good counter into that Daphnis. Meant that TOPAV couldn't really nuke out that Vanessa freely, because usually Daphnis does not take out Vanessa. And if you let that Vanessa go to maybe about 10% health and it doesn't die, and a Belio picks it up, you instantly lose the game. So great picks from DRMZJOSEPH's side. We'll see if TOPAV can counter appropriately here.
We're going to find out as we go in to game number 2 with game number 3 with TOPAV and DRMZJOSEPH. Part of me thinks maybe he should have gave it a shot trying to drop that Vanessa. You are right, because if he doesn't kill the Vanessa, maybe resist it on the defense break, it would have been over right there.
True. As a unit owner, you probably know how much damage your unit does, and he also knows that DRMZJOSEPH is not going to run a squishy Vanessa. So at this point, I think TOPAV made the right choice there. It was a tough choice to make, but just unfortunate. He picked that Vigor so early. He wasn't fast in the draft here, and ultimately, just lost units off the bat.
Well, we've got new pre-bans going out. Josephine being pre-banned by TOPAV, knowing DRMZJOSEPH drafts that Josephine a whole lot and as a counter up against his Hathor. So we're going to be seeing a Hathor coming out from TOPAV, and Ganymede being pre-banned by DRMZJOSEPH.
And we saw that no change from DRMZJOSEPH from game 1 here. DRMZJOSEPH going for the Vanessa over Ciara pick. Interesting choice here. TOPAV should counter with some sort of a Yeonhong X. Don't know what that unit, it might be a Yeonhong Vigor. I know that TOPAV's really been favoring his Vigor here. And of course with Yeonhong being able to boost units back and forth, that's a lot of control he has. I think TOPAV is probably thinking about a Verd later on in the game. So DRMZJOSEPH probably needs to make picks right now to make that Verd not a great pick, because DRMZJOSEPH's team is very weak to Verd.
Old double Beast Riders coming up for DRMZJOSEPH, showing that these units are still strong and viable.
Double Beast Riders indeed, and DRMZJOSEPH is going to be able to have a very fast team. TOPAV going with that Ileana and Veligil, so double immunity off the bat here. Enough damage because there's a defense break coming out from that Vigor. There's also skill 2 coming out from Veligil. So overall, very solid draft from TOPAV.
DRMZJOSEPH looking at a Diana, knowing that TOPAV has a Vigor on the field with that anti-crit.
And I think TOPAV is probably going to ban out that Diana here, just knowing that the other Beast Riders don't exactly do much when you have immunity up. And TOPAV is just going to look to outcycle his opponent, have that speed buff, and just wear DRMZJOSEPH down.
Well, resistance lead for TOPAV, 33 speed lead for DRMZJOSEPH. Are the Beast Riders going to be enough? Is it going to bring too much damage for TOPAV, or can TOPAV get the control to win this game 3? DRMZJOSEPH with first turn with Savannah.
And if DRMZJOSEPH does not capitalize and can't take a unit out, this could be the end. But so far he's stripped, so this looks like he has a chance to do so.
Attack buff Masha looking to pummel massive damage into the Yeonhong. Yeonhong stays alive and handles that very well.
And that's resist lead at work. Not able to take out that Yeonhong.
Yeonhong was hoping for that strap on top of Vanessa, not getting it here. Maybe should have charged Vitality up because Vanessa got the defense break and no additional turn.
Very lucky there. If that Vanessa had proc, that'd be the end of Yeonhong here. TOPAV being a little greedy, not using Charge Vitality here, but does not matter. He's able to start stabilizing, and he's going to look to start slowly work down this Vanessa.
Yep, you can see Ileana getting shields and immunity up, not boosting up that Ileana to get that the Charge Vitality out, choosing not to, looking to pull more damage into this Vanessa.
Yeah, TOPAV really taking his time here. And at the same time, DRMZJOSEPH doesn't really have a strip. There's a 2-turn invincibility on Yeonhong's side, so TOPAV can kind of just pick his moment to use that Charge Vitality.
Looks like he boosts up that Vigor. Vigor trying to pull more damage into the Vanessa. Veligil finally using that skill 3. Possible Charge Vitality coming out.
Yeah, and TOPAV here at this point can just cycle cooldowns over and over here, choosing to be very patient. Now has to use Charge Vitality because he's gonna lose that invincibility. So kind of an unlucky proc by TOPAV.
But what unit does he want to boost up with? He does boost up that Ileana. Ileana's gonna be bringing that invincibility right back.
So we just saw a lot of back and forth. TOPAV just playing the game of Summoner's War as if there's only one player on the field here, slowly whittling down this Vanessa. Lots of control. Not much DRMZJOSEPH can do but watch.
Yep, this is exactly how TOPAV likes to play. He's putting on a masterclass right now with the kind of control TOPAV can play.
Yeah, and of course, TOPAV is going to slowly work units down, decides to go after the defense breaker, goes after the Savannah here, does land that defense break on Yeonhong.
Does land that defense break onto Yeonhong. Masha primed and ready to take advantage of that defense break.
But unfortunately, not enough damage, but there's another hit.
And there it is. These Beast Riders so fast. Savannah was able to cut and eliminate that Yeonhong.
So TOPAV needs to even this out, needs to dismount both Beast Riders because that's a lot of damage and skills coming out.
That is a lot of damage. Like we said, these Beast Riders are so powerful. They're so fast. They can put so much damage onto this field. And you can see Masha putting in work on top of this Veligil.
If I'm TOPAV, I'm looking for my opening, looking to see what Vigor can defense break here. Might need to go after that Fran to take away healing, but decides to go after that Masha. Decides he wants to remove its ability to defense break and slowly wear down his team.
Oof, there's the big strip onto Ileana. Ileana did not take that very well. Chooses to boost up that Veligil, getting the additional turn here. Looking to apply glancing on top of Masha and does not get the glancing.
Very big miss on the glancing, but also very big proc there because there is invincibility up on the next turn.
There's another additional turn coming out of Veligil. We might see this Masha drop and gets the drop on Masha.
But of course, there's 2 attack buff Beast Riders here, so that's a lot of damage coming out.
A lot of damage coming. Oh, in Ileana's direction. Masha gets the additional turn. Gonna drop this Ileana here. Chooses to go after the Veligil. And Savannah drops Ileana. Not looking good for TOPAV. TOPAV does drop that Masha.
Not looking good for TOPAV at all. This Veladril is the only way to take out Savannah here. Needs to do so now, but at the same time, Savannah moves in front of Vigor.
That's right. Chooses to hold on to that skill too, trying to get a defense break in front of it.
Actually, TOPAV very lucky not to get crit on. There is a chance that TOPAV is able to come back here.
Yep, there's the Sanctuary. Savannah looking to get the strip on top of Veladril. Vigor needs an additional turn, might go for a defense break.
Definitely needs the additional turn, does not get the additional turn. Savannah is moving in front of Vigor here.
And Fran with the sustain, with the procs. We need any kind of damage to go onto this Savannah, or else DRMZJOSEPH's going to be taking this victory.
Yeah, this looks a little dicey. Needs a proc on this Vigor right now because that Veladril is looking very low.
Definitely is looking very, very low. Veladril might be dropping here. Once again, another additional turn coming out of this Fran. Savannah bringing exactly what it didn't need to drop this Vela. Vela's staying alive. Additional turns coming out. Veladril going to be pummeling more damage towards the Savannah.
Wow. And TOPAV able to keep the Veladril up. Veladril needs to avoid being crit here. He does have that anti-crit here.
But Savannah does not care. Eliminating Veladril from the field. Vigor, a lonely Vigor, is not going to be enough to stop this Savannah.
Oh, that's highly unfortunate for TOPAV. Vigor needs to take out the Savannah, but that's a little tough. It's water going into wind looks very tough for TOPAV.
That's right. He's lucky he got that defense break sitting on top of Savannah. I just don't know it's going to be enough here. Fran getting so many additional turns throughout this entire game. Lots of sustain for DRMZJOSEPH.
Lots of sustain, lots of everything here, and that Vigor is going down.
There you have it. DRMZJOSEPH taking round 3 away from TOPAV and eliminating him from this year's SWC America's Cup.
Wow, what a tough game for TOPAV there. I mean, that Yunhong, there was a moment in which Yunhong procced a little much, lost that immunity, and then got sniped out. DRMZJOSEPH doing a very good job of balancing attack bars. At the same time, at the end there, TOPAV just didn't really get any procs until the very end when it didn't really matter. And there was a lot of damage coming into his team, and he just wasn't able to sustain that.
Yep, TOPAV, he showed how well he was working with his team. DRMZJOSEPH needed a window. He found that window, he took that window, eliminating Yunhong from the field, and he just stopped that combination, that perfect team that TOPAV did have.
Yeah, and that's not how it started, right? We started with the outdraft by TOPAV, really putting DRMZJOSEPH in a difficult situation and taking game 1, and you're thinking, oh no, is this it? And then the quick bounce back with the Water Druid pick there in game 2 by DRMZJOSEPH, putting TOPAV in an awkward position, and then really went down control against Beast Riders, and the speed of Beast Riders, the procs, and even that last match, game 3, went back and forth. That has to be up there for one of the best matches of the tournament so far, doesn't it?
Definitely one of the best matches. I mean, Beast Riders, again, dominating the meta. So back and forth, and at the same time, while it looked like TOPAV was ahead, that Yunhong went down in one round of turns. A lot of damage, a lot of burst. Can't ever count the Beast Riders out. I mean, Savannah with its ability to strip and then defense break, it does a lot. And that ultimately led to TOPAV exiting the tournament.
It's beyond me that anybody could possibly say the nerf was very effective for these Beast Riders. I think these Beast Riders are still very, very strong, and it just shows once again today that these units are speed-based damage, it's powerful defense breaks, you're able to take advantage of so many windows. I think they're fantastic units.
Yeah, we saw a lot of the Barbara last week, and now this time we're seeing a little bit more of the Masha and the Savannah really working on through for our competitors. So it's a big tip of the cap here to DRMZJOSEPH as he's able to book his ticket to the America's Cup. Deservingly so, another opportunity for him to etch his name in the echelons of the Americas. And unfortunate for TOPAV. Great showing, resilient throughout the day, but unfortunately not his day. He will not continue on towards Worlds. Now, to book another ticket, we've got POPOPANDA against FAINTMEMORY. And we just saw FAINTMEMORY go earlier. He looked dominant again. No LDs, ahead of the curve, and he lived up to the hype in his match today, didn't he?
He definitely did. I mean, he outdrafted his opponent thoroughly. I mean, obviously in one of the games here, Sierra got taken out, but again, his opponent not able to deal with that Blution and that Leica, all that aggression there. FAINTMEMORY, very dominant player. So traditionally very standard drafter, but also does not make many mistakes at all. It'll be interesting to see how he does against POPOPANDA, who's also a very solid drafter, but I think FAINTMEMORY just has a little bit more experience, slightly sharper draft. I give this one to FAINTMEMORY probably in a 2-0 fashion.
Oh, we're definitely going to be seeing that today. I also agree. I think Fate Memory is going to be a very, very strong opponent for POPOPANDA. POPOPANDA having the LD Nat 5s. Let's see if he can get the edge having these kind of units. We're going to be finding out today. A little bit similar drafts from POPOPANDA as well to what Fate Memory likes to draft as well when he's not drafting LDs. Obviously, a lot of Gani Hathor Oki drafting. Curious to see what we might see from POPOPANDA going into this.
Yeah, POPOPANDA and Fate Memory share similar-ish styles where they both have Okeanos, Gani Hathor as Franz. They fight over the same units. It'll be interesting to see what one prioritizes over another. POPOPANDA does have that Isis, but at the same time, Fate Memory does not take Molly. He doesn't believe in Molly. He doesn't believe it's a good unit. So I think in this matchup here, Fate Memory might even have better runes here too. So I do favor that in favor of Fate Memory.
Yeah, you called it. The Okeanos was key to him with the victory over JLN2. Also, the Vertihile played a little bit there in his win, eventually falling to Ken Baller. So, POPOPANDA, Fate Memory. Only time will tell, and that time is right now. Guys, take us away for our second ticket to the America's Cup.
Well, here we go, guys. Like you said, second ticket, America's Cup. POPOPANDA versus Fate Memory. We're going to find out who wants that ticket more as we go into this match.
We'll find out who wants that more and who procs more to get there. Pre-bans are going to be very interesting here. POPOPANDA does have that first pick, so Fate Memory may decide to take that Hathor out of the picture, or could decide maybe he just doesn't want to deal with speed teams and takes out a Chiwu. So we'll see what Fate Memory decides to take out. POPOPANDA also needs a balance around that. Decides to take out the Barbara from Fate Memory side. Fate Memory does take out that Chiwu as predicted. Does not necessarily want to deal with that Oki Chiwu Gani setup. So Barbara gone. Barbara would contest Chiwu a lot, but at the same time, Chiwu is also gone.
First pick for POPOPANDA, taking that Fran away from Fate Memory.
And we're going to see probably takes the Gani Hathor off the bat.
Gani Hathor for Fate Memory. You just don't let anybody have that, and Fate Memory takes that away immediately.
And we haven't seen too many Gani Hathors in this tournament at all. And both players do have Gani Hathor. So POPOPANDA taking that Fran. And of course, if you don't have Gani Hathor, you need to disrupt that. So he brings that Sierra, brings that Okeanos. Very standard picks here. Fate Memory opts for that Vanessa and that Daphnis. Love those two picks here. Daphnis is going to be able to threaten POPOPANDA side. So if that Daphnis is not banned, he's facing down a Gani Hathor.
Usually in this situation, this is where you got to drop those very important LD Nat 5s. It's going to be strong enough to take away this Gani Hathor. POPOPANDA with last two picks.
POPOPANDA almost needs something like an Abuelio and keep that Daphnis in order to survive, because he's staring down Gani Hathor or something is dying off the bat from this Daphnis. So it's either some sort of a Triana or he goes with that Savannah and Water Monkey. Interesting choices from POPOPANDA.
Water Monkey, I think he's going to be signaling he's letting that Daphnis through. Ban's going out. He's going to be splitting the Gani Hathor for sure. Last pick from Fate Memory is going to be a Triana. Very interesting last pick coming from Fate Memory.
Very interesting last pick indeed, and actually all the bans are kind of on the table. It's kind of tough to know which one's being banned here. I think if I'm Fate Memory, I'm looking to either ban out that Ciara or looking to ban out that Okeanos, not wanting one of my units to get reset. And if I'm POPOPANDA, I have a tough time here because I don't really have something I can burst down easily. But I may be deciding to take out that Daphnis because you don't want to get sniped off the bat.
Well, lets the Gani Hathor through. 33 speed lead for Fate Memory. Okeanos has gone on POPOPANDA's side of the field, but he has a 24 speed lead as well. Is that going to be enough to defend the Gani Hathor onslaught coming from Fate Memory? And here we go, guys. We're getting into this round between POPOPANDA and Fate Memory. Let's go! Hathor with a nice skill 2, putting that Fran down, but the Fran gets the additional turn anyways.
In true Fate Memory fashion, his opponent procs out of sleep here, so Fate Memory's gonna be on the back foot, needs to find a way to survive while his opponent tees off on him.
Yep, Triana does get the immunity up. Savannah's not gonna care in a second.
Yeah, highly unlucky by Fate Memory here because POPOPANDA does have that immunity, and that's huge in this situation when Fate Memory is not going to be able to get that Gani Hathor combination off.
Yep, no strip going out onto Savannah, but Water Monkey King coming in here to get that strip onto the Vanessa.
Does get that strip on Vanessa, and actually that's a lot of damage that Water Monkey just did here. And that Sierra also has a giant bomb following up.
That's right, so here we go. Ganymede looking to ventilate back on the Hathor, so Hathor's going to get that skill 2 again.
Skill 2 being very valuable here. Fate Memory needs that skill 2, but at the same time, that passive from Triana is going to get proc. This Vanessa needs to survive.
As that bomb going on to Vanessa, passive of Triana is going to get proc. No more damage is received on top of Vanessa.
And while that was an attack buff bomb from Sierra, kind of a squishy unit, and at the same time, not using that skill 2 from Triana here. Interesting choice.
Vanessa getting that defense break on top of Sierra. We're going to see a skill 2 coming out possibly onto the Fran. No, goes for the Savannah. Fran's going to be right there to go for that cleanse on Savannah. Gets the additional turn as well for the attack break or attack bar pushback onto the Triana.
That's a giant proc because Faint Memory's Triana would have moved in front of that Savannah and given him immunity.
Looking for a full team stun, only receiving a stun onto the Hathor. Ciara's here, ready to take out that Vanessa.
Yeah, and that Vanessa's going to go down here. Faint Memory getting really, really unlucky here because that Triana was supposed to set off immunity and protect his team from Savannah. Instead, his opponent's Fran proc twice, and that's why he's in the position he's in.
Yeah, Triana, defense broken, no cleanse, no heal coming out. We're looking for a sleep onto Savannah. Needs anything Faint Memory can get his hands onto. Not receiving anything there. Might be seeing a cleanse on that defense break, choosing to go for the attack bar pushback on top of Ganny.
Yeah, this is a pretty tough situation, and Faint Memory not having a proc on the Hathor, but again, he's going to get that Ganny Hathor lockdown, but his opponent has speed buff, so I don't think that Hathor is going to move in front. So at this point, Faint Memory still on the back foot.
Gets the reset and additional turn coming out of Ganymede. Ganymede looking to poke more, go for the glancing on top of that Water Monkey King. Cleanse is coming out from the Triana.
Yeah, Faint Memory might be able to stabilize
Choosing
here.
Not to cleanse. Goes to the attack bar, sleep onto the Fran, not receiving it here. Critical error coming out. Not critical error. Finishing off that Hathor there, and POPOPANDA is going to be taking round one away from Faint Memory.
Absolutely heartbreaking loss for Faint Memory. They're getting super unlucky multiple times. That Fran proccing off the bat, and again proccing into that Triana. We were wondering why that Triana was not using skill 2 immunity, and the reason why is because that Triana moved in front of Savannah. And had that Fran not been able to knock down attack bar, immunities would be up into Savannah, and Ganny Hathor lockdown would commence. So Faint Memory kind of lost that by a 5% outer there. POPOPANDA being super lucky today.
Oh, POPOPANDA needed the damage, needed additional turns to stop that Ganny Hathor from getting online, and he did. Those Beast Riders providing so much damage, and the sustain attack buff you're getting from that Fran as well worked in POPOPANDA's favor against Faint Mem. We're going into a game 2, guys. You can see the pre-bans from last time. Chiwu and Barbara getting pre-banned.
So Faint Memory again getting unlucky there. Let's see if he decides to draft in a similar manner. I think if Faint Memory just is able to stay in there and hang in there, I think he's got a good chance to come back. Decides to pre-ban the Ganny, and POPOPANDA takes out the Daphnis. Daphnis from Faint Memory is a very strong unit. So great pre-bans on both sides here. Anticipate Faint Memory taking the Hathor first.
Faint Memory's got first pick. Let's see if he does take that Hathor away from POPOPANDA. He's going to go with the Fran this time, taking that Fran away from POPOPANDA, which he really liked in the last match. So POPOPANDA probably going to be taking that Hathor away. Does go through with the Hathor and the Okeanos.
Not crazy about picking 2 very high control units off the bat. I think Faint Memory could go with some sort of a Josephine, even Junos. I would love to see a Juno coming out from Faint Memory. He still wants to threaten the speed. Goes with the Barbara, but I really think he's thinking Junos, Josephines, maybe even a Raccoony if he has it in his back pocket here.
Well, you can see the Beast Riders coming back for POPOPANDA as well, bringing out a Savannah and Chiwu. Great combination from POPOPANDA. Faint Memory just with a Ciara Barbara right now.
At this point here, Leo's a great pick, maybe a Fire Monkey, something to basically lock your opponent out because your opponent, POPOPANDA, does not have a ton of damage if Savannah doesn't go off here. So Leo's a good pick, and I would anticipate some sort of a fire unit, maybe like a Fire Monkey, or maybe even some sort of a healing unit like an Elucia could be okay. Goes with a Fire Druid.
Awesome pick. There's no immunity on the side of POPOPANDA. Belinus is going to put in massive work if POPOPANDA can't protect himself from it.
Belinus is going to do massive work. Faint Memory is going to ban that last unit. At this point here, that Savannah is going to do very little damage. POPOPANDA going with that Velojewel at the end.
Yep, so easy draft there. POPOPANDA need to bring immunity. He brought out Velojewel. That might signify that POPOPANDA is going to lose that Velojewel, and Belinus might be banned out.
And I think Faint Memory takes out the Savannah action. I'm not crazy about this Velojewel pick here because it's pretty stationary and doesn't do a lot of damage. Savannah is really that source of RNG, so I think Faint Memory may actually decide to take out that Savannah, even though Leo's going to be likely left on the field here.
All right, let's see what happens. Bans are going out right now. You can see Barbara getting banned out and the Chiwu getting banned out.
Interesting choice here to take out that Barbara, and then Chiwu being taken out. So while POPOPANDA has a Savannah on the field, has chosen to take out that Barbara. We're going to look to see who takes this one.
Nope, speed lead for Faint Memory. We got an accuracy lead for POPOPANDA going into round 2 with Faint Memory and POPOPANDA. Can POPOPANDA get the 2-0 on Faint Memory, or can Faint Memory redeem himself here?
At the same time, there is no strip coming out from Faint Memory side, but doesn't really matter. Ciara does a ton of damage with its auto attacks.
Fran getting immunity attack buff here. Savannah looking to pummel more damage, and possibly that Fran or Ciara. Goes after Ciara, does not get the full strip.
Does not get this full strip at all, and there's still immunity up on that Sierra, so Sierra's going to be doing a ton of damage.
Yep, Hathor does get that sleep onto Sierra, stripped that attack buff as well. Velajul getting the 3-turn immunity, attack buff boost going, yep.
Yeah, FAINTMEMORY here decides he's added damage onto Okeanos so far, but I'm interested to see when he's going to go onto this Savannah.
Ooh, Okeanos looking for the reset onto Belenus, not receiving it here. It gets resisted. Immunity still stands on that Belenus.
And I think he preserves the immunity and goes just simply with the skill 2 here.
Going with a nice skill 1, just a little bit of poke damage there on the Hathor. Savannah probably continuing the onslaught on top of the Ciara. Not getting that defense break either. Looking for an attack break on the Ciara and gets it.
Does not land anything, and FAINTMEMORY still has immunity for a very long time here. And FAINTMEMORY's just waiting for POPOPANDA's immunity to fall off.
Ooh, looking for that skill 1 strip to get rid of that immunity, and does get it with the additional turn coming from Vela.
Yeah, and FAINTMEMORY's attack bar was moving quite fast up there, so you know that he actually ran out of time on his previous move.
Ciara cycling some attack bar, going after that Savannah. Might be seeing a skill 3 just to keep that Fran Ciara down.
Definitely think we see that skill 3 here. That skill 3 oftentimes doing a lot of damage.
There we go. Fran and Ciara getting the lockdown. Belenus still can't capitalize with all that immunity up on POPOPANDA's side of the field. Looking for possibly a little bit of hit, going for a skill 2 anyways.
Yeah, so FAINTMEMORY here not able to break through that immunity. So unluckily, no immunity, not able to get through anything, and POPOPANDA is just going to start teeing off.
Ooh, there's the stun, slowed Fran, and we're going to have Hathor locking everybody down. Not locking everybody down. Ciara is still up here, and Velajul with a big skill 2 coming out on Ciara.
Yeah, and Velajul does have immunity coming up again, so FAINTMEMORY needs to understand that. Decides to take off that Savannah, taking it off the Beast Rider, so not having that defense break coming out anymore.
Okeanos looking for the reset onto Ciara and gets that reset. Savannah looking to deal massive damage to this Ciara.
Sierra's being whittled down.
Ooh, and the initial turn comes out, and FAINTMEMORY loses his Ciara.
Yeah, FAINTMEMORY loses that Ciara. That Fran's been sleeping the entire game here, has not been able to pick that up. So kind of a tough situation for FAINTMEMORY right now.
That's right. Sanctuary comes right back out from that Velajul. Velajul applying a big punishment on top of that Leo. Leo trying to drop this Savannah, and Fran with the additional turn.
Yeah, and again, POPOPANDA does have full cooldowns coming up soon, and this Okeanos does have skill 3 next, so...
Does Savannah have enough damage to drop the Leo, and does so? Not looking good for FAINTMEM.
Not looking good at all. There's immunity up on POPOPANDA's side here, so that Fire Druids need to be able to take out the team, but when there's immunity up, quite hard to do so.
Ooh, Reyna Stones is up and ready, gets the stun on the Belenus, does not stun up this Fran. Fran's going to be healing itself here.
Fran needs to throw some healing in. He also needs a play to assume he gets a proc. Does not get any procs.
Does not. Savannah looking to get rid of this Fran. Gets the additional turn once again, dropping that Fran. Skill 2, doesn't need to skill 2, goes to the skill 1. Reset comes out onto the Belenus, heavily favoring POPOPANDA with the 2-0 against FAINTMEMORY. There you have it. Congratulations, POPOPANDA.
Wow, interesting match there. FAINTMEMORY being taken out 2-0. Obviously, the first one was a huge lucky game by POPOPANDA. Probably a 5% outer, but that game 2, that Fire Druid really did absolutely nothing. Goes to show in that draft there. I mean, FAINTMEMORY took out that Chiwu, but at the same time let that Velajul through, and his team really couldn't do very much there.
Velajul was able to protect that team. That Sanctuary being super, super strong against FAINTMEMORY could not get that Belenus online at all.
Yeah, and that's the thing though, like you said, a 5%er maybe after giving Gany Hathor over the ability to resist. But isn't that what we want? Aren't the stories should be written that way? A 5% opportunity to steal a game away with a draft that you shouldn't win? And POPOPANDA is able to pull it out 2-0 here against FAINTMEMORY. So that means another player we say goodbye to. FAINTMEMORY not able to move on. A man full of confidence, but unfortunately no LDs means no opportunity to the America's Cup as we take a look at that updated bracket. POPOPANDA booking his ticket along with DRMZJOSEPH, and those two will be participating in the America's Cup October 24th. That means there's 2 spots left. The next one will be between THOMPSIN and JMAK. And here's a good one here because JMAK has earned his way back to this spot, and THOMPSIN needs no introduction. Guys, thoughts on this matchup?
This is going to be an interesting one. JMAK has played very well today. Drafted very intelligently, balanced that speed, control, damage very well. But of course, as you mentioned, THOMPSIN needs no introduction. He is last year's World Finals runner-up and America's Cup winner. So it'll be interesting to see how JMAK balances his draft with all of these LDs that Thompson has.
That's right. I mean, we might be seeing a lot of aggressive drafting coming out of JMAK. I think JMAK needs to catch Thompson off guard to win this one today. And you can see he was very aggressive throughout his drafts in this tournament.
Yeah, at the same time, JMAK does have that Han that Thompson does also use, so maybe he'll be able to use that to his advantage. But again, kind of a huge uphill battle to climb here. Thompson has every tool you can think of in his toolbox, and JMAK does not. But JMAK pulled a Masha. Maybe there are other units we don't know about.
Possibly. Thompson, you know, he had a great match going up against Faint Memory in that day too. Not doing so good in his following match after that, because that's why he's here. But Thompson possibly looking to turn it around, going up against JMAK here. Strong drafters, strong units, strong rune quality coming out of Thompson.
Yeah, again, this was just a solid matchup here by Thompson, but who fell earlier in the tournament, which was a big surprise. Part of that day one surprise is Heaves was the one that was able to book the ticket over Thompson. And Thompson, again, highlighted by Com to us in the videos about content after the fact. And I think it would just, again, be just such a big story if Thompson, the man with all the tools that anyone could ever have, not make it. Like, yes, JMAK is deserving of this spot, but like, I really don't know how to put it into words if Thompson doesn't make it in.
I think what you're saying is the community would explode if we saw an upset.
All right, well, we don't have to wait for too long. Thompson, JMAK, 2 men enter. 1 will continue on towards their quest to become a world champion. Let's find out.
Here we go, guys. Very exciting match ahead. Very high anticipated match coming up here. Thompson and JMAK. Can JMAK get the upset, or can Thompson continue to show his victories out here?
This is one of the ones I'm looking forward to a lot. JMAK does draft a lot like Faint Memory, so this is almost like a Faint Memory Thompson match, but not quite. JMAK does have LD units, but also has fast units as well. You see, again, this is Stone Star League versus Guardian 3 League here. And Thompson does have that first pick, so JMAK will need to respect the fact that he may have to ban out, pre-ban Gianna, and just give Thompson the Hathor. And the Thompson situation, he's looking to understand he's probably going to get that Hathor. What does he want to take from JMAK's side? Likely an Okeanos pre-ban or something of that sort, maybe even a Vanessa. Knowing the fact that Thompson doesn't like to use Okeanos much.
Well, there's the Ganny pre-ban by Thompson and Gianna pre-ban by JMAK, and obviously another unit that JMAK's going to have to worry about is that Nephthys.
Exactly. There's that Nephthys pick here, but at the same time, without Gianna on the table, Fran is going to be a lot more valuable. Thompson might go with the Hathor first. You're going to see a Sierra Fran or Fran X, likely a Sierra Fran here to take that away from Thompson.
There's the Fran, just like you said, coming out of JMAK. One last pick after seeing that Hathor coming out.
Yeah, and I think that Sierra is usually a strong pick from these players. And at the same time, Thompson also has a very good Sierra, so JMAK may want to take that away from Thompson and to give himself a speed lead early on.
Ooh, there's the Daphnis coming out of JMAK. Very aggressive show, that Daphnis this early.
Very aggressive show of that Daphnis, and it kind of opens him up to all kinds of Barbaras, all kinds of Water Monkeys, or Okeanoses. But again, Thompson not favoring Okeanos typically kind of removes that from his box here. So if I'm Thompson, I'm taking some sort of a Sierra, and I think we've seen a lot of Vigor. He may decide to go Vigor, but Barbara's a great pick, and that Chiwu Barba. Great solid picks from Thompson's side. Very
solid picks. Barba Chiwu synchronizing very well going into this. And we have JMAK looking at a Ciara, and one more draft. A Cichlid. He locks in the Cichlid.
Interesting choice of that Cichlid here. I was thinking it was going to be an Okeanos, but Cichlid does have a higher base speed and the ability to reset a unit off the bat and defense break it. So we're looking that Barbara may stay in this draft. The preemptive ban is probably going to be on this Chiwu, allowing JMAK to go first. So Thompson needs to find a way to disrupt it. We're likely going to see, if he wants to fight for turn 1, some sort of maybe a light monkey Vanessa or some way to fight for that speed off the bat.
Ooh, Vertiheal and Light Monkey coming out of Thompson.
Interesting choice here. So if JMAK decides to ban out that Chiwu, he's going to be able to outspeed as long as, that Daphnis is on will. So if he chooses to go with some other aggressive unit, ban out that Chiwu, I think JMAK actually has this draft in control.
We'll see. There's that last pick, bringing out another reset, taking back the Okeanos and bringing out that Water Monkey King.
I love the Water Monkey King pick here because once Thompson doesn't have immunity, so that skill 2 from that Water Monkey is going to do a lot. We know Thompson's going to have Res Lead because Chiwoo should likely be that ban. JMAK's going to be able to tee off with some sort of unit opening up first, so I really like JMAK's draft here.
I think the Light Monkey King was a unit that he did not have willed up previously. He may have changed that. That might have been the factor for Daphnis going into this round. We're going to find out, though, as bans go out right now. Chiwoo getting banned out and Ciara getting banned out.
Chiwoo and Ciara being banned out, but it's going to depend on what is off will from JMAK's side. If everything is on will, this Light Monkey's not going to do a lot. We know that is a very fast Swift Monkey, so it's going to depend. If JMAK is on will runes, he's going to be in a great spot here.
That's right. Well, here we go, guys. JMAK and Thompson going into round 1 between the two of them, and we have Cichlid taking first turn.
Cichlid taking first turn, but also note JMAK is fully on will.
Fully on will, so he's not going to be able to do anything except keeping the Cichlid down. Cichlid's able to get that strip defense break on top of Barbara.
Yeah, but again, that Hathor is moving after this Water Monkey, I think, but then Daphnis is moving after that Hathor.
Looking to put that Cichlid down, gets a 2-turn slow and sleep on top of Cichlid.
Yeah, but this time here, JMAK's going to be able to throw up shields from that Fran.
There we go, and we have Water Monkey King able to drop that Barbara right off, not getting that, does get that full team stun.
And there's nothing this Fran can do. That was a lot of damage from the Water Monkey. JMAK is in a really good spot at the moment.
Very good spot, going for Hellfire on top of the Verti heal. Not finishing off that Verti heal just yet. Verti heal looking very bad in a terrible spot right now.
Terrible spot here, and Thompson basically has 2 AoEers and a Vertihile that's going to go down. No healers. JMAK has healing, just needs to sustain and kind of establish control, and that's exactly what he's doing.
Yep, Fran looking for the attack bar pushback on the Hathor. Doesn't get it. Hathor just looking at a skill 1 right now. Everyone being willed up except the Daphnis. Chooses to go for that skill 3. Does not get the sleep onto Daphnis.
Does not get the sleep onto Daphnis. And again, JMAK's got that Water Monkey. We haven't seen this unit very much, but it's doing so much damage here.
Water Monkey finishing off the Verti heal, looking fantastic for JMAK. JMAK looking very strong. Skill 2, looking for stun on both units. Receives those stuns. Water Monkey King so fast. So much attack bar gain with that skill 2. Unit of focus trying to drop this Light Monkey King.
Trying to drop the Light Monkey King, but it's 2 units versus 4, and JMAK does have that healing from the friend. Nothing is terribly squishy. JMAK's got this one here.
And if we know Thompson, he's going to be taking his time here. Cichlid trying to focus out this Light Monkey King with a nice first skill. Hathor looking to spread out that attack break, looking to apply it to the Water Monkey King, not receiving it though.
Thompson really looking to take his time here. Of course, he is a seasoned veteran, knows to take his time, but again, as he's taking his time, he's losing units. JMAK is going to town on this Light Monkey.
Had to go for absolutely anything, waking up that Fran, only getting 1 stun out there, and Daphnis trying to finish off this Hathor, not just yet, but gets the additional turn again, trying to drop this Hathor. And this should be it right there. Water Monkey finishes off. JMAK taking round 1 away from Thompson. Last year's America's Cup champion.
Stone Star. JMAK looking so strong with that Stone Star, taking out 3 red stars from Thompson's side. And honestly, JMAK made that look very easy.
He made it look very, very easy. The draft heavily favored JMAK. Throughout the match, heavily favored JMAK. JMAK dominated Thompson in that round.
And the problem there was Thompson did not take 2 speed leads. Basically, when you don't take 2 speed leads, your opponent takes out your speed lead, you get outsped, you get controlled, you get nuked, and that's exactly what happened. Barbara dismounted off the bat, and that was game over. So well played by JMAK. Let's see how he adjusts. I think we're going to see a Nephthys pre-ban from JMAK. We know JMAK has first turn, first pick, so Thompson may decide to take out that Hathor and not let JMAK have that.
Well, pre-bans from last time. Gianna and Ganymede. Pre-bans coming up for this round. Like we said, we may be seeing a Nephthys pre-ban. There's the Nephthys and the Hathor getting pre-banned by Thompson.
Very standard pre-bans as predicted here. JMAK is likely going to go with could go with a Sierra or a Gany first pick. Knows he obviously doesn't have Gianna, so he needs to be able to anticipate playing against that.
Yep, there's the Gany being drafted by JMAK. Thompson should probably be pretty quick here.
I think
they'll take the CR away from him.
I think it's going to be a CR Gianna pick here, but could also take away that Fran, which is also an option, knowing that his opponent, or he could just take the CR Gianna, knowing that it's tough for JMAK to take that Fran later with the Gianna already present on the board.
Yep, definitely going to be seeing that CR for sure coming out of Thompson, unless he surprises us with something new.
We'll see. This game's been full of surprises. Did not know he had a Chiwoo earlier. Goes with that Sierra Fran. Does not need the Gianna, so very patient picks by Thompson. I like that a lot. JMAK deciding My opponent still has a Gianna in the back pocket, so let's go for speed here to disrupt that combination from Thompson. And I like that, going with the Chiwu, going with the Daphnis here. So even if Gianna comes on to play, we know Thompson has a violent Gianna, which is a huge liability in this spot.
That's right, and I think JMAK's going down the right road right now. Speed is definitely going to be key, especially going up against Thompson. Has his speed lead, has his high damage Daphnis. Thompson responding with a Barbara and Gianna coming out. JMAK looking at another fast unit, Okeanos and Ileana coming to the field.
And if I'm Thompson here, I'm looking probably to ban out that Chiwu here and looking to outspeed my opponent. This is how I would win the draft here. JMAK not opting for a second speed lead. But if that Chiwu is not banned out, JMAK will assert full control. So Thompson needs to recognize that that's how he's going to be able to come into the game. Overall, I think JMAK has a lot of threat on his draft here. I do like this draft a lot.
There's not a lot of damage coming from JMAK, though. He has a little bit of control. He has the resets, double resetting Gani Oki's very, very powerful. Thompson wrapping up his draft with a Viga.
Not sure about the Vigor play here because that's actually a lot of damage come from JMAK. He has that Daphnis and a Gani to reset that and an Ileana to constantly reset that. That's a lot of control and damage. I really think Thompson should have gone for some way to lock down his opponent off the bat and instead decides he wants to play a turn 2 type comp with the Vigor. So that ban is not really clear, but maybe a Daphnis, maybe an Okeanos or Chiwu as well.
Chiwu getting banned, removing the speed lead from JMAK's side of the field. Barbara looking like a devastating unit, having 3 units already drafted by JMAK.
If this Gianna is swift, Thompson wins this draft, but he's known for his violent Gianna. So if something tricky is coming up, Thompson has this draft, but otherwise, if it's a violent Gianna, he's going to be in trouble.
Speed lead for Thompson. Crit rate lead coming out of JMAK, making sure he lands these crits. Here we go, guys. Thompson and JMAK, and JMAK at the 2-0 on Thompson. We're going to find out. Okeanos landing that reset on top of Gianna. We're going to see some immunity getting pushed up here by Fran.
And Gianna on Violent not doing very much here, getting reset off the bat, and Thompson is going to eat a skill 3 Hellfire from Daphnis when Daphnis gets its turn.
We're going to see the Shred. Shred's coming out onto Okeanos, getting that defense break. No additional turns coming out. We got a bomb that can be planted. He can eliminate the Okeanos from the field.
That's a lot of damage onto Okeanos, so we're going to basically see an Okeanos go down. Sierra's going to lose immunity, so JMAK needs to down a unit.
Yeah, Thompson dropping that Okeanos. We could see the 3rd skill from Ileana going out. Ganymede can reset the Ciara. Chooses to putting a Glancing instead.
Yeah, Sierra just blew up its bomb, so Sierra doesn't really have skills to reset. This Daphnis should be going on to this Fran here, so JMAK needs to land here if he wants a chance.
All right, Hellfire not enough, going for the Gianna instead. Gianna staying alive.
Gianna staying alive, and it is on Violent, so if it procs, it has its skills up.
And there's the additional turn like we were talking about before. There's the bomb getting planted on top of Ganymede. Skill 3 going out, looking for a stun on Ileana and Daphnis, receiving both. The heal going out onto the Gianna, and a nice little skill 2 to keep the anti-crit up.
Exactly, so Thompson's able to proc there, gain advantage here, and again, he's got an edge here, and I think we're going to see a 3rd match.
Ooh, there's the additional turn coming out of Ileana. She's able to proc out of the stun. Going to see a 3rd skill happening here with the invincibility to protect this Ganymede from this bomb.
Actually, that's a huge proc there because once this Daphnis goes online, Gany is going to be able to vent it, and it will have its skills up, so it is not quite over here. This invincibility is going to protect this Gany a little bit.
Not over at all. Unit of focus for Thompson right now is trying to drop this Daphnis. You can see the turns coming out. Daphnis still standing tall right now. Bomb cannot be planted on anybody. No additional turns for Thompson. He cannot drop this Daphnis yet.
That's a lot of damage from the auto attack. This Daphnis is going to drop very, very soon. That Gianna and Sierra basically took out half health from auto attacks. So JMAK's Daphnis is quite squishy here.
Bomb does go off on the Ganymede, but Ganymede is protected. You can see the Daphnis getting dropped here. Gianna trying to focus out this Ganymede, and there you have it. Thompson answers correctly in round 2 against JMAK.
And JMAK's Daphnis is so squishy, almost like it's ruined for the Stone Star League. I mean, it really just melted instantly just from auto attacks. So quite the liability, and at the same time did not land against that Gianna. I mean, it being basically targeted off the bat, you know, JMAK was on a big back foot after that.
It definitely was. I think he needed to remove a unit with that Daphnis, so we may have had a different outcome. Like you said, the combination between Gany and Daphnis would have been enough damage to stop Thompson. Thompson had a lot of damage. Thompson had a little bit of RNG as well.
Thompson definitely had a little RNG here, but this is Summoner's War, and RNG is part of the game. So we're going to see a pre-ban on Gianna from JMAK's side, and I think Thompson's going to take out the Gany, very similar to the first game.
Oh, here we go, guys. Pre-bans going out. You can see the pre-bans from last time. Nephthys being pre-banned by JMAK, and Hathor getting pre-banned by Thompson.
So we'll see what Thompson decides to do. Thompson does need to adjust from that first game because in that draft, he was thoroughly dominated by JMAK. So we obviously know JMAK's going to take out that Gianna. Gianna's a very fast unit on Thompson's side and does strip and stun. Very, very strong unit in the meta. So that's a very clear pre-ban from JMAK. Thompson likely going to take out the Ganny as he did, but I think Fran is also an option here.
Yeah, well, JMAK's got first pick. He's going to be taking a unit away from Thompson for sure. And bans are going out. Gianna getting pre-banned. Ganmy getting pre-banned. That was wrong. Thompson has the first pick in this round.
Right, and Thompson's going to take that Hathor away first, and then we're going to see JMAK going in with that probably a Sierra Fran or, you know, some sort of a Daphnis Fran as he did in the first game.
Well, let's see if he digs into JMAK's box, removing unit from him. Well, he's going to split the Hathor, taking that away from him.
Takes the Hathor, and we're going to see not a Daphnis Fran, but a Sierra Fran off the bat. We haven't seen Thompson draft Daphnis at all, so that's maybe why JMAK is reserving that pick for later. So great standard picks by JMAK. I really like that Sierra Fran. Okeanos is a great pick into JMAK and Daphnis, but again, I don't think Thompson has these ruined up or typically uses these units.
Yeah, I don't see him drafting a Daphnis a lot. I think he does have it ruined up, but you don't see it often coming out of Thompson. Thompson opts for a lot of other units than a Daphnis.
So we might see some sort of a Chi-Wu. Oh, does go for the
see a Daphnis coming out of Thompson, digging right into JMAK's box up that he loves to draft, and he takes it away from him.
So JMAK has to respond with an Okeanos here to be able to control that Daphnis. So Okeanos is definitely a pick. I would love a Barbaro, but I don't think JMAK has this trick up his sleeve here. So it'll be interesting to see what he takes here. But Thompson, great pick on the Daphnis. That's exactly what JMAK's box is weak to at the moment.
Oh, we might see that Masha come back, and we do not see the Masha come back. We see the Xiao coming back for JMAK.
I really like the Water Monkey pick by JMAK here. There's a lot of threat, a lot of damage. I mean, that Water Monkey might be able to down that Daphnis off the bat unless it's got the right artifacts on it. Thompson's under a lot of pressure in terms of speed. Should take a second speed lead like a Vanessa, and should not take the Light Monkey, knowing that JMAK is generally running full will nowadays.
Yeah, no sustain yet for Thompson. Curious if he's going to bring any out. Does bring, not sustain, but some shields coming from this Josephine, which kind of signifies he's going to be letting that Okeanos through for sure.
He's definitely signifying that he's letting that Okeanos and Water Monkey through, so kind of an interesting choice here. And if I'm JMAK, I'm thinking I could probably, knowing that my Water Monkey and Okeanos are going to be let through, go for the outspeed, ban the Diana, and choose to have double resets. So if I'm JMAK, I mean, I probably need to take maybe one more lead or one more piece of damage. Or Rika here is also a great pick, knowing that Thompson does not have any immunity.
Yep, I mean, that's kind of the baited ban right there at the end for JMAK. Knowing he doesn't have any immunity, drafts that Rika, really devastates the draft of Thompson. Thompson's going to have a force ban here.
Thompson definitely needs to force ban the Rika, but JMAK almost is signifying that he's taking out that Daphnis or that Hathor. It's likely the Daphnis because that Daphnis is here to take out that Rika. So when you lay down a Rika last, usually Daphnis is the ban. That's exactly what the ban is, and Rika is the force ban. So we're going to look to see JMAK reset that Hathor off the bat, do a lot of damage with this Water Monkey, and this Diana, if it doesn't proc, is going to eat a couple bombs from Ciara.
Oh, there you have it. Speed leads for both teams. Can Thompson take it and go forward here, or can JMAK make a huge upset? And Okeanos gets the reset onto the Hathor, already in favor of JMAK, as he really needed to land that.
Huge, and also Nephthys a little bit too fast here. Fran is going to be able to put immunity up on the entire team here. That proc doesn't mean much, actually gives JMAK an extra chance to proc.
Yep, going for the alter ego, looking for the strip onto the Diana, receives it. Immunity's coming up here from the Fran, getting attack buffs as well.
A proc there would have been devastating because Okeanos would have been able to tee off. But at this point here, JMAK's just going to throw bombs up. Jess needs to auto, Jess needs to pump in more damage because Diana cannot transform.
That's right, shields are coming up here. We're going to see the strip provoke going out possibly on the Water Monkey King.
Yeah, and JMAK is looking for his opportunity to get Okeanos' Rain of Stones online, and once he does that, he's going to control Thompson.
Choosing to go for the strip provoke onto the Fran instead. Okeanos with a little bit of poke damage, trying to crack that shield. No! Trying to go for the Nephthys instead.
Yeah, and exactly. And at this point here, Thompson doesn't really have a strip, so he's going to eat a full team stun from this Okeanos next. And there's a Water Monkey with a full team stun coming as well.
Silence gets placed on top of the star as well as the attack break as well. Skill 2 going out. There is no passive up on Josephine. Does only get a stun. I'm sorry, passive is up. Does get a stun onto the Diana.
Does need to burn the cooldown of Josephine so that when Okeanos goes, it does not have its passive up anymore. So Thompson needs to be able to stun. Does not get a proc there.
Does not stun, but you can see additional turn coming out of Fran as well, healing up that Ciara. Ciara has bombs ready for that Diana.
And he drops the bomb on the Diana, so Diana's pretty much a foregone conclusion. JMAK is up 4 units to 3 here. I really like his position at the moment.
Definitely. Okeanos going to get the kill there, dropping that Diana, looking very in favor of JMAK right now. Big skill 3 coming out onto Josephine. Josephine looking terrible with the reset of the Curse of the Beautiful sitting on top of the Nephthys. That is gone now. That is no longer a factor. Josephine coming with a first kill, hoping for a stun.
Wow, JMAK able to take this one here. JMAK has healing, has more damage on his side. Thompson with the LD unit of Nephthys not able to take control of this game here. JMAK's really showing us some great drafts here.
JMAK is looking amazing. Well done, JMAK. You can see he's just trying to take advantage of the stunned up Nephthys, pummeling more damage. Hathor with a nice sleep onto CR. It's just not going to be enough. You can see the attack break going out onto the Fran. Fran healing up, and there's just too much JMAK has right now. He's got the sustain, he's got damage, he has everything going for him.
And JMAK is punching his ticket.
And there you have it. JMAK takes down the previous America's Cup champion Thompson.
JMAK punching his ticket to the America's Cup here. What a match. Great drafts from JMAK. I really like how he balanced speed, threat, and control here. Not really able... Thompson was never comfortable in this draft for sure here. There's a lot of speed going on in these different drafts. And at the end of the day, JMAK was able to take out units very, very systematically. And honestly I really liked his drafts. They were great. Well played by JMAK.
JMAK, super, super powerful. Well done, well earned. I'm happy for him.
Yeah. Here it is. History made. Thompson will not be going not only to Worlds, but even the America's Cup, as JMAK, with the drafts, doesn't have the same tool set that Thompson has, able to book his ticket after fantastic drafts and putting Thompson in a difficult position. And even in Game 2, it was a huge resist that Thompson needed to be able to even work out of the early part of that game.
Correct. I mean, even in the draft, you can tell that Thompson was checkmated a lot, where you knew exactly what unit was going to be blown up off the bat, and the opponent, one of the players, would be down 3 to 4 units. You can tell by looking at the speed and turn orders of the draft exactly what's going to happen. So in those situations, JMAK navigated that very well, and just drafted great.
Yeah. Again, big stories here in the preliminaries, as preliminaries are happening all across the world. So Skit, over in the Korean region, better be careful, because that was last year's world number 2, dropping early here in the Americas preliminary elimination bracket. JMAK, huge upset, continues yet again. A great, great story. We'll move on to the America's Cup. That leaves one final spot and possibly one more massive upset. Is it Tree or is it Igor? Let's find out, guys. Thoughts on this matchup here?
I mean, I'm just looking at these pictures, and if I look at Tree, I'm intimidated. That man means business. If there's anyone who knows how to get to Worlds, go to Finals, it's Tree. He's been there time and time again. He's always at the top of the ladder. He has a legend finish in one of the seasons. I mean, Tree is still the one to beat here, and I think I still favor Tree 2-0 here.
I think Tree has the tools. I think Tree has the rune quality. There's no reason why Tree can't move forward here. We did see a little bit of drafting coming from Tree throughout this tournament that we weren't super fans of. We know him as aggressive, high damage, very smart drafting. There was some questionable drafts in this season for him, and that might be why he's here right now.
Yeah, but taking a look at his opponent here, Igor ES. Again, we saw DRMZJOSEPH already be able to book his ticket and represent South America. Igor, the representative from Brazil, a very flashy playstyle, and he did it earlier today with a highly aggressive draft in game number 2 against ZEFARIOUS.
Yeah, I mean, Igor's draft was just so fun to watch. So I love watching aggression, and he was just able to be so aggressive on ZEFARIOUS, basically send ZEFARIOUS home, punch his ticket to the next round. I mean, Igor just with the great drafts. And whenever you put a lot of aggression in the face of your opponent, it's very scary to draft against. So I like his drafting style, and I'll be curious to see. I mean, Tree is the Molly picker, likes to go with the Molly first. If Tree doesn't adjust, you're going to see a lot of slow, passive play versus active play. So if Tree goes with the Molly side, I actually think Igor's got a better shot, but I trust Tree to be able to draft accordingly and make adjustments.
I would imagine Tree should be drafting accordingly as well. But if Igor drafts the same way that he was playing against ZEFARIOUS, I don't see why Igor can't take this victory over Tree either, though.
Right, and you could see the difference in journey, right? You've got the young newcomer, the Brazilian, compared to the veteran that is Tree, that's been around for a while, as well as Igor, the fact that he did much better in Season 12 than he did Season 13. We showed the ranks there. It was like in the 70s, I think, in Season 12, and like almost 300 in Season 13. But trying to change things around is Igor. All right, guys. The final spot up for grabs for the America's Cup comes down to this, Tree and Igor. Who will take it? Let's find out.
You heard it, guys. The final spot right here. Igor and Tree. Can Tree draft as well as we know he can, or is Igor going to take out his aggression here with Tree?
And if there's anyone that has great drafting skills under high-pressure situations, it's Tree. So in this matchup, I think Tree is going to start off probably with a pre-ban on that Gianna. Very standard when you're against a Gianna picker. Gianna's just quite strong at the top of every tier list. There's a reason for that. And we're going to see that pre-ban first. Igor ES is probably going to alternate pre-bans from that Nephthys and maybe actually not onto an Artemel, because Artemels are not that great in this meta anymore. So I kind of see that Nephthys being pre-banned, and that's exactly what we see, Nephthys and Gianna being pre-banned by the two players. And Tree's going to first pick and likely go with the Hathor.
Yep, I think he's going to be picking a Hathor as well, taking that away from Igor. You nailed it with the pre-bans. And let's see if we'll nail it with this first pick coming out of Tree as well, and we do. Tree is going to be drafting that Hathor. Igor looking to respond, as we've seen Ganny Franz coming out, Ciara Franz, Ciara Ganny in this case with Igor.
Ciara Ganny from Igor because he favors that more aggressive lineup. I would hate to see a Molly pick here. I think a Molly pick would be very bad into Ciara, so I think Tree needs to kind of adjust. I would like to see something addresses the speed of this draft. So some sort of a Vanessa. Chi-Wu is a great unit. But then Chi-Wu with Ileana is a bit odd because that Ileana is a immunity giver and that Chi-Wu is also an AoE stripper, so there's no damage from Tree's side yet. So while he may cycle a lot of turns, these turns don't do very much. And if I'm Igor, I'm looking to see Barbara's coming from him, maybe Okeanos's, maybe Daphnis's, something on the that shows aggression that we've seen from him in the previous matches.
Yeah, real quick, guys, just so you all know, we are experiencing high heats here in the studio. There is a small chance we may actually be losing power. I just want you all to know that if the stream does go down, we should be back up, but if we do lose power, there is a chance that happens. So just letting you guys know about that right now.
Well, this looks like a long game coming up here, so we may, hopefully our power generator can hold up here. Tree going with that Savannah, going with the Artemel pick here. Interesting note here, so we may actually see the Jaeger being banned out from Tree here. This is what it signifies to me. I mean, Jaeger being very good against pretty much every single unit on Tree side. So Igor needs to make a great pick knowing that his Jaeger is going to be gone.
Well, here we go. Igor wrapping up his draft here with this last pick after seeing a Savannah and Ada for Tree.
So if I'm Igor here, I'm looking for, going for a Josephine. So obviously a Hathor still on the field. I would have liked to see some sort of a ban on the Ileana and go for an AoE like an Asuma or something like that, knowing that your Jaeger is going to be pre-banned. Either way, it doesn't matter. It goes with the Josephine. Tree's going to take out most likely that Jaeger. Josephine's already weak to Savannah, so I can see Savannah being the ban from Igor's side when you take a water unit like that. But I still think this draft favors Tree here because of that Artemel and how well wounded it is.
Well, let's see where the ban's coming out here. Can Igor handle that Ada? He's going to be letting it through. Jaeger getting banned on Igor's side of the field. Savannah getting banned on Tree's side of the field.
As predicted, those are the two bans coming out from the players here. Igor does not have healing on his team, so Tree's going to be able to slowly wear him down with this Artemel unless Igor's able to land bombs and nuke something off the bat.
All right, guys, going into round one between Tree and Igor. Once again, if we do lose power, we're going to do our best to get this stream right back up for you guys. So please be prepared if this does happen. Here we go, guys. We've got Tree, we've got Igor, and Igor is going to be taking first turn with this Ganny.
Igor's going to be able to take first turn with this Ganny. Probably just going to need to use that skill here.
And the reset does go out onto the Chi-Wu. Hathor looking to put somebody to sleep here. Does not get the sleep onto that Veladjewel.
Less than 50% chance to hit it, but does get a second shot and does have skill 3 up.
And Daily Promise is coming out. Gets the sleep onto everybody except that Josephine.
So at this point here, Tree just needs to take out this Josephine. So Tree's going to have 4 units on 3, but doesn't have defense break, not a lot of burst.
Josephine with the provoke onto the Ileana. Looking for not a sleep onto that Josephine. Josephine with the turn stun onto the Chi-Wu. Gets the attack break from that Hathor. Glancing does land, not stunning up that Ileana though.
And that attack break is huge on that Josephine because once Josephine has attack break, it doesn't do very much.
That's right. Possibly looking for another stun out here on the Hathor or maybe that Ileana.
Yeah, and if I'm Igor, I'm actually very, very scared here because I don't have a healer. I need to be able to sustain this damage.
There's that despair stun coming out onto Josephine. Really needed to put that down there to stop this unit from getting any sort of turns or any sort of control for Igor's side of the field.
Absolutely needs as much control as he can get because he does not have healing on his side. That Josephine's actually taking quite a lot of damage here, and that health will not be restored.
Yep, Hathor, a little bit of poke damage coming towards Ciara. Ada looking to take advantage of that Ciara as well, not getting that despair stun.
Not getting the despair stun. And Sierra actually took a big chunk of damage here. But again, I think Tree is going to need to be able to do more damage. Does not have a defense breaker, so it's going to be a long match that we see.
Yep, looks like Igor tried not to crit by going after Chiwu. Crit anyways. Ada just applying more damage with that passive.
Actually, that Sierra's already past half health, so that Sierra might be done in another wave of turns. So actually, Tree looking quite strong and still has immunity up.
Ooh, big despair stun going out onto Ganymede, proccing the passive of that Josephine. Josephine can't get a stun on anybody.
Josephine's definitely going to need to get a few procs here because he does not have the ability to strip anything.
And Hathor looking for a strip here, possibly looking to sleep the Ciara.
Decides to try to sleep that Sierra, but does not get it. But at the same time, does not really matter because all Tree needs to do is slowly take out units. Tree has the healing. He has the better long-term comp. Needs to take out the burst damage, and that is Sierra.
Oof, look at that damage coming in from Ada right on top of Ciara. And going to see an immunity get pushed up here with Veladrul.
Yeah, and at this point here, Tree is actually going to be losing immunity soon, so Sierra's going to drop this bomb, and that's going to be a lot of damage onto a unit that is mainly defense.
And Igor really needs this bomb to land. This is not a time where he wants it to resist. Gets that bomb to land, and it could get cleansed up. I think he's going to be detonating it here. I think he wants to stun this unit up, get the damage out when he can.
Definitely wants to do the damage because if he auto-attacks, he's going to be eating a revenge proc, so he does detonate. That's a lot of damage.
Lot of damage, and a big stun on that Ada as well. The only sustain unit Tree does have.
The question, though, is that can that Sierra survive another wave of hits? And I'm not sure. That's honestly quite squishy. Lu's taking a lot of damage at this point. Chiwu does do a lot of damage typically, so I think we're going to see Tree go for the kill.
Yep, he's trying to do it here. Going right after that CR. Is Chiwu going to have enough here? Gets the strip and finishes the CR. Not looking good for Igor. He needed that unit to be alive.
Not looking good for Igor, but if he's able to down that Artemel, Igor will be in a good spot here. So he actually goes for the provoke, but needs to take out Artemel.
Gets that strip provoke onto the Ileana. Ileana not getting stunned up by the return. Vela possibly looking at a huge punishment onto Ada. He has to drop this unit.
And I think Igor noted that the Ileana is squishy, decides to continue on Artemel. Great choice there, but again, that Artemel is quite tanky, and it's going to take a lot of shots to take it down.
It is. Gany looking for the glancing. Does get that glancing onto Ada. We see the third scale strip coming out. Does not get the strip onto that Veladrul.
Yeah, and this Hathor needs to land the attack break onto that Josephine because Josephine does do quite a lot of damage. Artemil, I think, still has the heal up, so that's what Tree is looking for.
Yep. Ooh, Hathor not getting that attack break onto the Josephine. We might be seeing a boost up here on the Ada to heal up.
Either boost on the Arda or boost on itself to give invincibility. Decides to go with boost on the Arda because that's safer, heals itself, and with Igor not having a defense break, I don't think there's a way he can get through Tree's team.
That's right. We're going to see some stuns, a little bit of control coming out of Igor. Can he get the stun? Does get that stun on Ada. Ganymede going to be resetting possibly that Hathor. Drop the attack bar.
And at this point here, Igor needs to find a way to down this Artemil. That's a big attack bar dump coming out from that Ganymede.
Choose to go for the reset on the Ileana. You can see Vela might be pummeling damage into this Ileana. He did realize how soft this unit was.
Exactly, realize how it's soft, and also Chiwu is a damage dealer, so he should be pumping in damage into the Chiwu, but instead decides to go after Artemil.
I think Ganymede really needs to ventilate either that Josephine, keeping that passive up, maybe even ventilate that Veladrul. Does ventilate the Veladrul. Veladrul is going to have punishment coming up soon.
Yeah, and at this point here, Igor is pumping damage on Artemil, recognizing that it's a threat, but I think Igor's best chance to win is to continually stun that Artemil, which is not happening.
Ooh, Hathor looking for that skill 2 sleep on the Vela, not receiving it here. Ooh, Ileana can actually push up that Hathor. Hathor's going to get a skill 3, put everybody to sleep here before Vela got immunity up.
So great show of manipulation by Tree, able to use that Ileana very effectively. And again, Igor does not have burst from this Josephine, so Tree's going to be able to wear it down and slowly take advantage.
Josephine looking for a stun onto the Ileana, probably trying to take this unit down as quick as possible. Nice skill 2, strip that shield on top of the Josephine, and does get that strip.
Does get that strip, and if he lands that attack break, that Josephine's not going to do very much.
That wind unit cannot get an attack break on this water unit for the life of it. Ileana does get that glancing.
Unlucky, but at the same time, Josephine does not do enough damage to be able to take out any unit here. Tree's just going to slowly wear his opponent down.
Great stun on the Ada. It's just one turn less to losing that Josephine from Ada.
Just one turn less, delaying the inevitable, enjoying his time in SWC.
You can see the skill 3 for the Neostone Agent coming out, the invincibility back on Ada. Josephine is probably going to be dropping here.
Josephine's going to be dropping from this Ardor Mail, and then Tree is basically going to hit the auto button, kick his feet up, but probably not because this is an elimination matchup.
There it is. Ada drops Josephine, and that's massive damage from Chiwu onto Ganymede. Massive damage.
Massive damage, and unfortunately, Igor, yes, not able to recognize that Chiwu is a damage dealer in this matchup. So trying to go at that Ardor Mail too much kind of punished him here, and at this point, Igor needs to regroup and figure out what he needs to do to stay alive in this tournament.
Ada dropping that Ganymede. It's just a lonely Vela. I think he's going to keep playing it. I guess he would just go for a skill 3 to stop the sleeps, or does he go for punishment and take advantage of this Ada? He's going to go for a skill 3.
Goes for the skill 3, but again, skill 3 is not going to do very much. That's a lot of damage coming out from Chiwu.
That is a lot of damage coming from Chiwu. I would love to see how this Chiwu looks, because this thing really pummels in a lot of damage.
And Tree taking his sweet time. We might have seen some emotes in the back here, and then finally lays in that hit there and wins this one.
Yep, there you have it. Round 1 going to Tree over Igor. Well played, Tree.
Well played, Tree, and unfortunately, Igor not able to take out any of Tree's units. Tree having that healing, that sustain, able to just wear his opponent down with that Ardor Mail, that Ileana just slowly taking advantage of that situation, and Igor just without the strip, without a good strip and the ability for that Sierra to sink in, just couldn't do very much.
Nope, not at all. You can see the pre-bans from last round. Nephthys, Gianna were pre-banned out. First picks going to Igor this time.
First pick going to Igor, and I think Tree is likely going to pre-ban maybe the Asuma, maybe the Jaeger. I think the Jaeger is going to be a good pre-ban. And at the same time, I think Igor is probably just going to pre-ban the Ardor Mail. You're going to see an LD swap on the pre-bans, and we're going to see Igor continue his aggressive route.
Well, I hope he does. I think that's what he needs to beat Tree here, but Tree just needs to continue drafting appropriately. There's the Hathor ban for Igor and the Asima ban for Tree.
So as predicted, Tree does take out one of the LD units of Igor, but Tree will be fighting a Gianna here. So we're going to see Igor likely take a Gani first, which synergizes very well with that Gianna later. This can also be a Sierra, but I don't see Tree taking Sierra very often, so I think I favor Gani here. Goes with the Sierra, as we've seen, Tree's going to instantly snap pick that Gani, which synergizes so much better with that Ileana and everything else he uses.
That's right. I think Igor definitely should have taken that Gani away from Tree. But Tree obviously had to take that Gani away from Igor.
And at this point here, Tree going with the Molly pick here.
Disappointed to see the Molly.
Well, Molly may notch its first victory, but when your opponent first picks a Sierra, Molly's generally very weak. If I'm Igor, I abuse this. I'm thinking Tessarians. Oki's also decent. Tree does not have immunity yet, so even an Okeanos is good. Daphnis is still acceptable. We're going to look to see Igor get very aggressive. Gianna's probably popping out here. It's probably going to be some sort of a Gianna, or I guess not, and probably a Chiwu Savannah with the Gianna later.
I do like the Savannah Chiwu. I think that's a great draft here from Igor. Tree looking to draft that Nephthys, which Igor cannot respond to right now.
And Tree needs to respect the fact that there's a second AoE stripper in Gianna coming later, so he needs to find a way to deal with this Savannah. Almost needs to start drafting as if he was banning a damage dealer and letting 2 AoE strips come out, because there's a little bit of dyssynergies when the 2 come out. So he actually goes with the Vertihile, which is kind of interesting because Tree represents so little damage here that I think Igor can just go straight damage and aggression and probably take this game.
I think that's exactly what Igor needs to do. We saw him do this before against ZEFARIOUS. I don't see why he shouldn't do that now. If we see the aggression coming from Igor, we might be seeing this turn 2 cop from Tree going down.
I would like to see some sort of an Okeanos Gianna here, or a Barbara Gianna. Oh, and a Tian Lang. I love this unit. This is a very powerful unit. The passive gains allows the Tian Lane to gain attack bar as your opponent gains attack bar, and also shrinks the amount of attack bar they gain. Very strong LD unit. We know for sure that Vertihile's left in the field, and it also kind of preemptively bans out that Ardor Mail. So Tree cannot take that Arda, but again, Igor does not have any healing on the side, so Tree needs to find a way to live and slowly take advantage of this situation. but there are 2 Beast Riders on the field. Goes with that Rika last pick, and I think Rika is the force ban here.
Yep, Rika is definitely the force ban. Igor does not have a respond for that Rika. Doesn't have a respond for that Nephthys either.
And I think Chiwu might have to be the ban from Tree's side, but I really don't like Tree's situation here. We know Rika's being banned out here, but it's either that Tianlang or that Chiwu being banned out, but there's so much damage coming out from 2 Beast Riders and a Sierra.
Yeah, I'm surprised we saw that Molly coming back again. I think he just really wants to get Molly that victory. I don't know, not too sure, but we're gonna see Igor. Barbara's gonna be the unit to ban. Rika, obviously the unit to ban on Tree's side of the field. Igor looking much more aggressive than Tree.
Yeah, and Tree's Vertihile needs to be a triple revenge Vert, otherwise he's gonna be in a tough spot. And even if it is triple revenge, Igor's got a Tianlang to back him up.
That's right, 24 speed lead for both players here. I'm not too sure who's gonna be taking first turn. I would imagine that Chiwu is going first, and it is. And nobody's on Will.
And Vertihile has to be triple revenge. If you look at the attack bars, that Vert has to be triple revenge. So if I'm Igor, I am not taking this risk here, and I'm not using skill 3.
Went for skill 1, hoping to get that nice RNG sleep onto that Ganymede. Ganymede looking to dump attack bars and reset that CR.
Good show of patience from Igor, and knows that this game is quite long here. Now has that Savannah, is going to be able to use skill 3 here, or actually can decide to go skill 2 and lay some damage in.
Yep, I think his unit of focus might be that Nephthys trying to remove that unit. Goes for the AoE, but the revenge of Verd comes into play.
And this Tianlang should do a lot of damage if he chooses to use skill 2. Those artifacts can add a lot to Tianlang here, so we'll see what Igor favors, and he does go for it.
Goes with that second skill, deals a lot of damage to everybody. Obviously stuns up that Nephthys.
And that Nephthys is almost at half health. Past half health, that's a lot of damage. 1,500 per hit.
A lot of damage for sure. You can see the cleanse and shield coming up for Molly on top of that Nephthys. And this is where no immunity play for Igor. Nephthys is going to take advantage of his team, get the silence, the glancing, the heal blocks. The defense breaks everything from that Nephthys.
And that Chiwu lands a giant sleep onto the Ganymede.
Huge sleep. Great RNG sleep coming out of Igor with that Chiwu onto the Ganymede. He's going to be down for 2 turns. Unit of focus once again is going to come back to this Nephthys.
Yeah, exactly. He needs to focus on this Nephthys and actually not touch the Vertihile, because the Vertihile's on triple revenge here, and Igor is not going to be able to throw up any skills with that silence up.
Well, you can see the additional turn coming out. Bomb might be planted onto the Vertihile.
Definitely needs to plant the bomb, because that Molly does not have a shield up, so plants a bomb and it's going to be able to get rid of glancing here. So it's going to be a lot of damage coming out from this Sierra.
Yep, choose to put that bomb on the Vertihile. Vertihile almost at half health already. If that bomb does detonate, we might be losing the Verd.
I think he needs to be patient, because Molly does not have that shield up, so Igor needs to be patient and get a lot of damage from that auto attack from that Sierra.
All right, you can see the defense break possibly coming out with this Tianlang. Does not get that defense break onto the Nephthys.
Pretty unlucky not to get that defense break, because had it landed, that's a lot of damage being pumped into that Nephthys.
That is. We are going to see a skill 2 going on to Nephthys, trying to strip that shield, I want to say.
I think we're going to see that as well, and if this Molly does not proc, it's not going to be able to shield up this Vertihile here.
Ooh, choosing to go for damage on Vertihiles. The Vertihile going to revenge, does not revenge.
Molly might actually have it shield up, but Vertihile, if it is able to, no, does not have it up. And actually, that's a lot of healing coming out on the Verd side here, but Igor should be able to snipe out this Verd very soon.
Ooh, Molly with the additional turns, almost fully healing up this Vertihile.
That's giant proc there. Basically brings that Vertihile up to full health here. And you see Igor with his timer running out super fast, means he ran out of time earlier.
Yep, chose to go after that Nephthys. And we can have Ciara here looking to cycle a little bit of attack power. Why going for the Vertihile? The Vertihile's going to revenge.
I don't know why he chose to do that. If he had autoed something else, that Sierra would still move in front. Going after that Vertihile, not sure about those plays here. Igor had this match, but decided he didn't want it.
I guess not. Looking at an attack break silence from Nephthys. This is going on CR to keep up with that attack break. CR is not going to be able to get a bomb out here.
So those are huge heals from the Molly, but Igor really had this still in a very good spot here. That defense break from the Tianlang and the auto attack from that Sierra is going to be able to provide so much damage.
Shield coming out for the Vertihile. You can see the revent back onto the Molly. Molly's going to have that shield cleanse once again. Chiwu possibly looking for a strip to remove that shield from the field.
I think Chiwu needs to avoid touching that Verd again, but he decides to risk it.
Risks it, strips the shield, and the revenge comes out for that Vertihile.
And I think Igor needs to go for stuns here, because his opponent is taking a lot of turns and healing a lot.
Goes for broke, only gets a stun onto the Ganymede. No revenge proc coming out of Vertihile.
Goes for broke, does not get anything here, but Igor does not have a lot of damage coming up. Silence on that Sierra, no skills up on that Savannah.
No, none whatsoever. Nothing's happening with Ciara here unless the additional turn possibly comes out. Skill 1 focus might be on the Molly now that the Molly's low.
I think he's focusing that Molly. Again, that Sierra actually not a lot of damage, not great artifacts on it. Only 900 per hit. Usually you see a little bit more here. Igor's still in a great spot. I mean, his units still have great health, and Tree is actually under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, Tree definitely under a lot of pressure. He wants to keep up that attack break, and the silence is not allowing any bombs to go through. Might see a second skill come out with Molly, keeping up with those shields. He might be holding on to it for the bombs. Chooses not to hold on to it, does go with the shield on top of Vertiheal.
And I think Igor, yes, needs to just chip away and find a way to down a unit. All the damage is spread out so evenly, and I think he should have just focused one unit here.
Ooh, Chiwu not landing that 2-turn sleep on top of the Nephthys. Vertiheal looking to pump more damage into this Tian Lang, cycling a little bit of attack bar, but also pushes that Tian Lang forward as well.
And actually, Igor, yes, is going to have 3 units moving in front of Tree, so if he lands a defense break, we may see a unit on Tree side going down.
Yeah, Tian Lang really needs that defense break, gets that defense break. Savannah lined up to remove this Nephthys from the field. Igor needs to get this kill.
Igor taking his time here, praying to RNG. Does he land?
Does not get the kill on the Nephthys. Nephthys go for the curse. The beautiful lands on everybody. Nothing's going to stop that from going through. And Ciara looking to cycle, maybe even drop this Nephthys.
He's attack broken Ciara, so might not be able to drop that Nephthys.
Does not get the additional turn. Bomb is coming out.
That's a huge proc here because he can drop that bomb and then detonate it and also kill the Nephthys in the process. Igor might be emoting there. He's taken a long time to do his moves here.
Does the bomb on the Vertiheal can detonate this, and then he's going to be removing the Nephthys from the field. Vertiheal does not drop just yet. Glancing, coming out onto that light panda, gets the additional turn as well. Oh, he is staying alive. Tian Lang is not dropped, and Molly's going to finish it off.
And actually, we might see Tree being able to take out the Sierra. If Sierra goes down, Tree's actually in a good spot. Molly needs proc a couple of times here.
Chiu crossing his fingers for RNG sleep, not receiving it. Vertiheal pummeling more damage on top of this Savannah. We're going to see a reset going on to CR and dumping attack bars on everyone.
I think we're going to see that, and I actually really like Tree's spot here. Tree is able to climb back. That Molly might get its first victory.
There is the reset. First skill, Molly taking Savannah right off the beast with the additional turn, healing up the team. Vertiheal looking to drop this Savannah that's defense broken. Vertiheal drops that Savannah, looking extra good for Tree right now.
Tree looking so strong, and that Sierra's about to go down here.
Yep, Ciara just barely holding on right now. Can Ciara get that additional turn for the bomb? I'm not too sure that bomb damage will be enough. A lot of time has passed, though.
A lot of time has passed indeed, but again, Tree has that Molly. That's a lot of healing. I don't know why Igor was punching that Verd in the face so much earlier, punching his way to join Twitch chat for the remainder of this tournament. Is exactly what he was doing.
That's exactly what's happening right now, and there you have it. Tree taking round 2 away from Igor.
Wow, Tree winning 2-0 here. I was fully expecting an Igor victory actually early on, but I don't know why he kept punching that Verd in the face. You know it's on triple revenge. He did not need to go after that Verd there. And actually Tree going very damage light, so we saw a very long match with Molly. And so, of course, Molly getting his first victory of the tournament.
I want to say the only reason he kept hitting that Verd is he welcomed the revenge because it was boosting up his Tian Lang, allowing him to get those skill 2s and defense breaks. I think that's the only reason for hitting the Verd, because he just didn't care enough for it.
No, another reason could be simply that Tian Lang needs a buff, is what I think it is. Tian Lang unable to win versus a Verd, might need a buff there.
What's more important right now, Molly got a victory.
Molly got a victory.
Molly got a victory in SWC.
Molly got a victory, and finally, it feels like order has been restored. Tree, one of the America's representatives at Worlds, is able to punch his ticket to the America's Cup and continue his next step. And so that means we say goodbye to Igor. We're sorry, Brazil. Unfortunately, that is where your representative ends here. A 2-0 to close out day 3. And what a day 3 it was. Again, I think the big story here is JMAK able to topple THOMPSIN 2-1. And THOMPSIN not only out of America's Cup, but out of Worlds. Like, put that into perspective, guys.
That's crazy. Going from the top of the top last year, fighting for a $100,000 prize, literally the last 2 matches of the entire tournament, and then losing in prelims here. It just goes credit to show how much JMAK prepared for this. JMAK drafted very well. We hadn't seen him, we never saw his wings on stream much. He wasn't playing very much, and somehow was still able to win.
Yeah, full credit goes right towards JMAK. JMAK prepared for it. JMAK obviously picked up some new units. We didn't know the Beast Riders are coming. We didn't know the Chiwu was coming. And JMAK ultimately, he played amazing. He played amazing today. He brought his game.
All right, let's take a look at that bracket one more time. DRMZJOSEPH, POPOPANDA, JMAK, and Tree all booking their ticket. Joining along Mr. Ricky Ko, that's Raigeki for all you guys keeping score at home, and Heaves as well, the Canadian Day 1 qualifiers to the America's Cup. And finally, our Day 2 qualifiers as well, Ken Baller and Trakamu. We've got our 8 players, don't we, guys?
We do. I mean, it's a very, very strong field, and it's interesting. There's a lot of new faces there, and it goes to show that everyone's rune quality has improved. So the field is a lot closer than it used to be. So you're going to be seeing a lot of new players on the ladder in tournaments, and it's just really exciting for the game.
Yep, exactly. I mean, we're seeing someone like Ken Baller, who hasn't competed in SWC yet, making it through the first time around and not through the elimination bracket. You know, players like that, they're coming to the table here.
Yeah, and it's happening all across the globe. Again, Summoners War, World Arena Championships 2020 regional qualifiers are happening all over the place, and upsets seem to be the name of the game. We'll definitely cover that in this week's scroll. You don't want to miss that. The other thing you don't want to miss, this code right here, Chappelle. Right there. Look at that. You see that? That was really cool. Final Four P. I don't know if the P is supposed to be there, but you could try both. Final Four or Final Four P. 100 energy plus the mystical scroll. Hopefully you're one of those 1 in 200 that gets the Nat 5. Best of luck to you guys. All right. That is all. There are no more preliminaries. Now, next time you're going to see us in the America's Cup, it's for the granddaddy of them all, October 24th. Don't miss it. We'll have content coming out all throughout the month until we get to that. And of course, watch the other regions. Paper Thin over there in the APAC region. He's just a big brain. I watch him to make sure I stay up to date as well. Thank you so much, everyone, from the casters, the entire live broadcast crew, and myself. We thank you for watching. Best of luck, and we'll see you October 24th for the America's Cup. Man.
Wow.
昇竜拳 Summoner's War 昇竜拳